it's a great giveaway day here at Citizens Bank Park. It's the Cliff Lee action figurine. Thanks to the folks at Total. It's a beautiful afternoon for baseball. After 28 innings the last 2 days, the Phillies and the Mets will get together for Game 4 of this 5-game series. And the particulars during yesterday's ball game between the Phillies and the Mets and the other games. Look at this, 8 for 41 with runners in scoring position for the Mets, 6 for 30 for the Phillies. Total time of game, 13 hours and 50 minutes. And the total pitchers used, and that list will go up as we go into today's ball game because of roster changes, is 36. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs and Mike Schmidt. Sundays with Schmidt here at Citizens Bank Park. You ready for 14 innings or 28 innings like we've had the last couple of days?
I'm going to be the life of the party today. I know you guys look a little tired there. I'm going to be the life, baby.
Well, we look at some of the numbers the Phillies have put up this year, and we look at what Ryan Howard has put up not only this year, but also for his career. 1,000 RBIs is what he hit yesterday.
That's right. That's quite an achievement. That's a great stat to have on your resume. Quickest guy, fewest number of games to 1,000 RBIs. And for guys like Ryan, guys like me, the category of statistics that meant everything was RBI.
Well, sometimes when guys have these kind of numbers, they can carry a ball club. But today is probably a little different when you talk about carrying a team through a game.
Well, it sure is. You know, you got to have a short memory in this game today. You look back at the last couple days, 28 innings, a lot of at-bats, some 0 for 7, some, 1 for 6s, things like that. You got to be mentally strong. Today's a day where you need leadership in the clubhouse. Today's a day where the guys like Marlon Byrd, Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley need to come into the clubhouse and be boisterous. Scream at some guys, pat some guys on the butt. Go to Ben Revere and say, hey, man, everything's going to be fine. Forget yesterday. Emotion and attitude is going to go a long way in this game today because the Mets have been living in a hotel together. They're here. All they're thinking about is baseball.
Yeah.
And they're coming off of a win.
Well, for the Phillies, they're coming off a month of May that was much like the month of April, Matt. So they'll turn the page, but they'll also reflect on what they accomplished during these last couple of months and hope to move forward and get better.
Well, the 2 months, they were consistent. They played the same type of baseball through the 2 months. I think, if anything, you're going to notice the biggest thing is the bullpen in the month of May. They went out there and they had a hard time throwing strikes in April, having any good luck. And all of a sudden they turned around in May, had a very good bullpen month for those guys. But as you can see the numbers, the runs are up a little bit. But for me, also you got to take in the last 2 games in May. Those the last 2 games, there's a lot of, like Mike said, 1 for 7, 1 for 6s, and 0 for 7s. But if you see in this graphic right here, Chase Utley hitting 291, being very consistent the whole year. Yeah, the month of May, he only had 1 home run, but he did have 11 doubles. And to me, that just still means he's staying on the ball. He's driving the ball, picking up some RBIs. Marlon Byrd's been consistent the whole year. Now, Ryan Howard's average is down, but he has come through with some huge hits with 5 home runs and 23 RBIs. So even though we'd like to see the average jump up, he's still coming through the clutch and getting that big hit.
Average jump up and maybe the strikeout number go down as we get into the month of June. So we do begin the month of June here this afternoon. It'll be Jonathan Neese making his 3rd start of the year against the Phillies. He'll be opposed by Cole Hamels. He'll be making his 8th start overall. Still looking for win number 2 on the season. Well, it's been a busy day thanks to the folks at Total. Some of the kids from the Philadelphia Police Athletic League were enjoying a clinic from the coaches earlier today. A lot of smiles, a lot of fundamentals, a lot of basics, and a chance to stretch your legs because we've got baseball coming up. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, introducing One Deposit Checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Budweiser, a reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting, designated driver. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross, live fearless. Your home for the most live sports. Lagares, Murphy, and Wright, followed by Campbell, Young, and Granderson. Then Tejada, Darno, and Jonathan Neese. They will take on Phillies left-hander Cole Hamels, who's about ready to go. On a bright, sunshiny afternoon here in Philadelphia, Juan Lagares leads it off. And the first pitch is in there for strikes, so we're underway. Here are the numbers on Hamels, 1-3 with an ERA of 4.43. He'd probably like to keep those hits down a little bit, Matt. He's at 43 and 44 2/3.
Yeah, he would. And he really wants to pound the strike zone down in the zone today, mixing the curveball and have a good changeup. And with the scouting report today, what you're going to see from Cole Hamels is 90 to 93 with his fastball. But the thing we got to work on is this number right here and try to figure out how to beat the Mets on a consistent basis.
His outing, his last time out against the Mets, was pretty good. 7 innings. He allowed just 1 run. That was the day he threw 133 pitches. 2 balls and 1 strike to Lagares. Our scouting report brought to you by Budweiser. And 2-2. That ball got a piece of Carlos Ruiz.
Well, it's good to be with you guys here on Sunday with Schmidt. I cannot guarantee that I can bring this kind of weather to you every Sunday.
It would be great.
Year, you know?
Well, we had great weather yesterday. It was bright sunshine, and then it was a beautiful sunset. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Lagares. And he fouls it back.
I must admit, you all provided a lot of entertainment yesterday afternoon at the hotel for me.
Well, we covered
5 hours.
5 hours. We're going to cover just about everything we can. Jamie got a couple websites on different words he could use. Here's the 2-2 pitch off the end of the bat. That's going to flare into center field, a base hit. So Lagares, even with the strained rib cage, the spasm to his right rib cage, gets a base hit to start this ball game. All right, guys, it's time for our Nissan keys to today's ball game. What do you think, Mike?
Well, mine obviously is the Phillies' offensive key. Make every at-bat count. Every at-bat's got to be like the game's on the line. I have to do my job. Be it bunt the guy over, make contact with 2 strikes to advance runners, hit a sacrifice fly. Let's just stay 1 run ahead of the Mets.
Yeah. Well, and my keys is what Mike just said is the fundamentals.
Seems like we've talked about that a lot this year.
You're right. Matty, it's amazing how this game will reward you if you just do the simple little things.
1 ball and no strikes to Murphy. Fly ball left center field. John Mayberry's out there today. And there's 1 out.
You know, I looked at the Cole's record, 7-14 career against the Mets. Cole probably, if he has problems with any team, it's probably the teams that don't have a lot of big swingers. You know what I mean? David Wright, even their 3-hole hitter, their sort of power hitter, run producer, is not a big swinger. He waits on the ball, uses all fields. You know what I mean? It's like Cole is a deceptive pitcher for a big fastball hitting team, and the Mets aren't that team.
But they were back in 06, 07, you know, as they were contending for National League East titles. Here's David Wright, and it's a throw over to first. I should say they were what you're saying, you know, with Reyes leading it off, and even with Wright in there. Carlos Beltran's not really a free swinger when he was with the Mets. Infield a double play depth. And this pitch is in there. It's 0-1.
Well, and I think a lot has to do with the ballparks they're playing. So they're not really building their team around a big, powerful team that's going to hit a lot of home runs. They go with more of a contact team and play the small ball at times. And I agree 100% with Mike is that they don't get fooled a lot on the pitches because they're really trying to make the contact for hitting runs or get guys over.
Well, the hope is he can feed off the last outing where he was in line to get the win. That was the Sunday afternoon up at Citi Field when the Phillies had the lead in the 9th by 3 and they wound up losing the ball game. So 1 pitch to right. Fouls it back and it's 0-2. Today's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. David Wright had the big hit yesterday, the RBI single in the top of the 14th inning. It's remarkable in extra innings the Phillies bullpen really did outpitch the Mets bullpen with the exception of that 14th inning. And that was mostly because of Jeff Manship, who was placed on the disabled list today. And we'll have more tests done on that injured quad. One ball, 2 strikes to Wright. And he tries to get a fastball by him. The pitch was just left up in the zone and pulled right through the hole on the left side.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a fastball inside, and it started left over the middle of the plate and drove it to left field, and Dominic Brown came up with a strong throw, but just took the chooch up the first baseline, and I know he was awful happy when he got the first base.
Yeah, because he did not have a great day at the plate. He and Daniel Murphy both. No appeal on that check swing. And the Geico quote of the day from David Wright: it was nice to kind of pick up the bullpen. They've been so good lately, it's impossible to ask them to continue to go out there and hold 1-run leads, 2 innings, 3 innings, or whatever it was. It's nice to pick them up. As we found out today, and even after yesterday's game, Manship was going to keep on pitching. He was really the last guy available as far as Ryan Sandberg's was concerned. If not for the injury, he would have kept on going out there. Now 3-2 to David Wright.
It's one of those high strikes right there. Waist high cutter on the inside corner. High.
Well, now they've got him picked. It was a low throw, and Howard had a little trouble getting it to second, and he's safe at second base. Jimmy Rollins is saying no. Corey Blazer's saying yes. And we'll see Ryan Sandberg come out, so he'll take his time going out to talk to the second base umpire while Rollins has a few words.
What happened was Ryan caught that ball down by his left knee and kind of caught it on the heel of his glove. You know, and he kind of did catch it in the pocket. He kind of caught it on the heel and trying to get it out safe. Trying to get it out. You know, he just didn't get it out clean. You go on first move a lot of times against left-handers, and if you don't execute defensively, you can beat that throw to second.
And I would think most times, we talk about this from time to time, if you are the runner, go. Don't get caught in a rundown in that spot, particularly if you're comfortable being able to beat that throw by a first baseman.
You know, the combination of a big leg kick and a deceptive throw to first, plus Ryan not being the fastest of hands and releasing the ball accurately to second base, you can make odds. I hate to say it, but at 50% of the time.
Yeah, I would think that, you know, just from without looking at the numbers, just watching it, I would think that you're right on that. So a runner in scoring position. The Phillies did not ask for a replay, and we looked at it, and obviously he was safe. And the pitch coming to David Wright, and a foul tip, 2 outs. Well, that was a good pitch down in the zone.
It was actually supposed to be almost like a front door sinker, and it was a good miss because it was out over the plate and had that late movement down out of the zone and got David Wright to swing over top of it. Not very often are you very happy that you miss your spot, but in that situation right there, it worked out.
And Ruiz was able to hang on. Here's Eric Campbell, a .276 hitter. He's been used late in the last couple of games, just like everybody else that didn't start. I think yesterday the only guy that wasn't used for the Mets was d'Arnaud, and the only guy that wasn't used for the Phillies was John Mayberry, as far as position players go off the bench. No balls and 1 strike to Campbell.
I don't mean to disrespect the Mets, but when you have a cleanup hitter that is fresh out of AAA,
yeah,
with
I'm with you. The 2 cleanup hitters today, the Mets and the Phils.
I'm not going to finish that thought.
Well, the two cleanup hitters today have combined for 17 RBIs between the two of them. Although Ruiz obviously has much more experience in the big leagues than Campbell does. No balls and 2 strikes to Campbell. And a call, strike 3, right on the inside part of the plate. That's where Ruiz wanted the pitch that Wright swung at. He gets it there on placement. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left in scoring position. Couple strikeouts for Cole Hamels. He now moves into 4th place all by himself in Phillies history. Day to be out in the bright sunshine here at Citizens Bank Park. We go to the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Ben Revere, Jimmy Rollins, and Marlon Byrd. Carlos Ruiz is your cleanup batter today. Ryan Howard's over at first base hitting 5th. John Mayberry 6th. In the bottom third of Hernandez, Brignac, and Cole Hamels. And they'll face Jonathan Neese, who the Phillies have faced a ton of times in his young career. He's 27 years old. 3-3 with an ERA of 2.74. Lefty's hitting just $1.75 against him. And he starts Revere off with a pitch inside. It's 1-0. Budweiser scouting report on Jonathan Neese.
87 and 91 mile an hour fastball. He's had pretty good success against the Phillies, even though it's 7-6. He's got only got a 3.08 ERA, and it's very important today that the right-handers jump all over Neese and help out the lefties today.
That one sliced towards short, knocked down by Lagares. He picked it out of the air, and there's one away.
It was a nice play because he knows he's got to hurry. You know, he knows he's got to hurry. But as soon as he bobbles that ball, a lot of guys will panic. I have. You'll panic because you know you got to hurry and then maybe drop it again. But he stayed pretty calm.
So Tejada throws him out 6-3 on the putout. The fact that it didn't hit the ground after it went off his chest was a big deal.
Well, and the fact that he put his chest out to block the ball instead of trying to do the old Olay play, but he blocked it, and like Mike said, he didn't panic.
Jimmy Rollins takes a first pitch strike.
What's a pitch you don't see very often anymore? Would you call that a changeup or a slow ball?
I think slow ball.
There you go. It's what, now down to 9?
Down to 9, Mike. He's on your heels.
Talked to him in batting cage a little while ago, and I asked him, should I come back here when you're like 4 away, 3 away, 2 away, or 1 away?
What did he say?
Well, he wasn't sure, but I told him that the Phillies want me to come back. I don't know what they want me to do when you break my record, but I'll be glad to be here. I'll be here, God willing.
Well, he's at 2,225.
9 to tie.
I would think that as he gets just a little closer, he's going to start smelling it a little bit. He's going to start turning it on. There's Marlon Byrd. Marlon, a 4-game hitting streak.
Yeah, are you guys going to let me up here then?
Be glad to have you. Softly to the right side. Murphy on the run. And he makes the catch. Yeah, there are 2 outs. That was
you're
Murphy's.
The ex-outfielder. I would say that he had a long way to go for that ball to right field. That ball almost dropped.
The alignment, Granderson's had some weird alignments. Not that
yesterday,
it's his.
yeah, on TV. I was watching yesterday. Who was it at the end of the game they were playing? He was playing like almost center field.
Chase Utley.
That gives you an indication as a hitter what they're going to do with you, doesn't it? Put your hard stuff away.
Yep, absolutely. Well, there's the alignment right now for Ruiz. A little different. Lagares is shallow compared to Chris Young when he's out in center field. Ruiz hitting .287, a home run and 10 runs batted in. He hit .276 in the month of May. First pitch is over for a strike, and it's 0-1. Fastball at 85 miles an hour from Neese. It's a little lighter than he usually throws. Actually wondered if that was like a backdoor cutter or something. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Matty, for me, Carlos Ruiz is one of the most fundamentally sound hitters in baseball, period. I mean, if he wasn't a catcher and didn't have to put up with getting the heck beat out of him behind home plate, he'd be a 300 hitter all the time.
I agree 100%.
Keeps his hands back, waits on the ball, uses the whole field.
There's a liner out towards center field.
Makes hard outs.
He did hit that ball hard. He hit it right on the nose. That's where his base hit went in yesterday's ball game at extra innings. Phillies leave 1. We'll go to the 2nd here in Philadelphia in a scoreless game.
Citizens Bank Park. And gentlemen, when you play 28 innings in 2 days and you also are in the midst of 41 games in 41 days, sometimes the team is forced to make some roster moves to help out that 25-man roster. The Phils were forced to do that. Tom, you mentioned that Jeff Manship was placed on the disabled list and Darren Ruff was optioned to Triple-A again today. Felipe Almonte has been called up, as has Cesar Jimenez. They will both join the bullpen. And we also, Jeremy Horst was designated for assignment to make room on that 40-man roster for Cesar Jimenez. So a couple of moves to bolster the pitching staff after a lot of innings in a short amount of time, guys.
Yeah, Ryan Sandberg said today that Darren Ruff won't be down there long in Lehigh Valley. Now, how long he will be there, he's got to stay at least 10 days unless there's an injury, and then he can be brought back up. But they're hoping he just gets some at-bats and then comes back up. He was, according to Sandberg, he was going to be in the lineup today, whether it be at first base or in left field. Here's Curtis Granderson with a runner at first and nobody out. Off the end of the bat, and that's going to get into center field, a base hit. Well, he's had 2 balls that have been hit that way, one in the first and one here in the second, so that puts 2 on with nobody out for Hamels.
That ball's hit off the end of the bat, sort of a first ball fastball swing. He was fooled on the pitch, and he just happened to hit it in a good location. Back on that rough send down issue, for those listening out there, it was a matter of options, I believe. You know, sometimes only one player may have options left to be sent back to AAA.
Yeah, a lot of times the paperwork part of it, I guess it is frustrating for the player, no doubt, but it does have to be done that way. Well, with nobody out, runners on first and second, here's Tejada. Tejada's hitting .227, a home run. He hit a home run yesterday. It was the first home run in over 550 at bats for him since 2012. And he takes a fastball. It's 0-1. He's earned himself another start here today. He has good numbers against the Phillies for his career, at least over the last couple of seasons. Didn't look like Hamels liked what Ruiz was asking for, so he stepped off.
You know, in the old days, this might be a bunt situation. Pitcher like Hamels on the mound, Neese's success against the Phillies, might be thinking low-scoring ball game.
I wonder too, after 2 14-inning games, if you would try to get the lead and sort of
let's
front
get
run.
ahead. You know, I'm kind of glad it's not for the Mets. I mean, you know, get double play in order, get out of this inning.
Well, there's his numbers against Hamels for his career. He's hitting over 300 against him, 9 for 28. 1 ball and 1 strike to Tejada. Fly ball to right. Maybe deep enough for Young to tag. He is tagging. Ball carried pretty well out toward the track, and the throw goes to second. So the double play is still in order. Runners on first and third with 1 out. Tuesday, June 10th, the Phillies will begin a 3-game series against the San Diego Padres. Pico is going to give out the Chase Utley bobble figurine to all fans that first day. Series wraps up on Thursday the 12th at 1:05, a Citizens Bank business person special. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Well, the last couple of days, the Mets have jumped out to a 3-0 lead, and the Phillies eventually erased that lead. They're threatening here in the second with 1 man down. And Travis d'Arnaud is the batter.
Carlos Ruiz gets another RBI.
He has been beat up in this series behind home plate. He's had 2 balls go up under his mask. He's gotten the ball off his shoulder. He had a ball off the inside of his foot.
See, imagine if you counted those as run savers, which they are, right? They probably do. There's probably a stat for how many runs a catcher saves on a ball like that.
Well, you know his pitchers know that. From Brad Lidge to Roy Halladay.
They take it for granted. I mean, I would think they go, hey, nice stop, you know, nice play.
2 balls and no strikes to d'Arnaud. He didn't play yesterday, as we mentioned. And that's over for a strike. It's 2-1. Another one. That was a curveball. And it's 3-1 to Darno.
He's thrown two fastballs on the outer black of the plate when he had to in this at bat. There's no question. I just question whether Cole is as confident in his fastball now as he has been in the past when he's had his really good years. That to me, that's the whole thing. You got to get the batter thinking fastball so that changeup is as effective as it can be.
Down the right field line, and that'll be out of play.
That changeup, man, that changeup comes out of the same arm motion as his fastball, right? And that's why it's so effective. I mean, I had Cole in 2004 when I managed in the Florida State League, and I tell you, you could not tell fastball from changeup when he was young, and he just run right through opposing teams.
Well, his last start out, his fastball was topping off at 94. It was a good fastball. There's a ground ball to third, should be two. Brignac to second for one. Hernandez to first. Around the horn, a 5-4-3 double play. And the side is retired. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 man left here at the top of the second inning. Right pitch, right time. Brignac got a very good hop. They call that a room service hop. Then Hernandez took care of the rest. On all your Philly teams right from your smartphone. Download the free CS at Philly Sports app today. Well, it is a perfect day to be at the ballpark. Phillies and the Mets, a 5-game series, game 4 of 5. 28 innings the last 2 days. Somewhat of a normal game in game 1, won by the Mets. That was Thursday night. The last 2 days have been anything but normal. Ryan Howard will lead things off. Howard hit a home run yesterday that brought the Phillies a little life, brought them within 1. And he also picked up his 1,000th RBI during his big league career. Shallow center field. And Lagares will come in. Well, Neese tied him up on that one, and there's one away.
Yeah, fastball's a little in and up. Ryan probably looking to ambush an early fastball in that at bat. Typically, that's not one you want to try to ambush. One off the plate inside.
He doesn't have great numbers against Nice, and you wonder if he was trying to jumpstart his day against him by doing that.
Well, I'm sure all these guys have a strong memory of Nice. I mean, they all have a lot of at bats against him. I mean, I know he's had success against the Phillies, and a lot of times you game plan that way. I'm going to hit something early.
Well, here's Mayberry, who's 9 for 34 against Nice. He takes a strike. It's 0-1. Mayberry's been the Phillies' best pinch hitter. He's 6 for 11 this year off the bench. Getting a chance to start in left field today. That's a little better with his fastball. That one was at 89, Matt. It's a little closer. The ones last inning were at 85. Line drive caught by Campbell.
Good two-strike hitting there. Hit the ball where it's pitched.
Milwaukee McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Virginia Langley of Millville, New Jersey. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Then Ginny will win $100. Here's Cesar Hernandez. Cesar's 1 for 3 so far in this series. His average at 146. Chopper back toward the middle. Murphy's throw over to first makes this a very quick inning. So Nice only has 14 pitches through the first 2 innings here this afternoon. Phillies go down in order. End of 2. Mets nothing. Phillies nothing. One pitch out so far, which is why we've cruised to the top of the third. All right, so the time of the game on Friday, 5 hours and 23 minutes. Time of the game yesterday, 5 hours 32 minutes. We're humming along here today.
We're looking at an hour and a half.
It's like the old days. You guys have played an hour and a half, under 2 hour games before, haven't you?
Yep, but I hate to tell you, it's 0-0 right now, so it looks like we're going for another 14, guys.
Nice takes strike 2. It's 0-2. Back in the days when starting pitchers would get it and just go. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Nice. And just a bit outside, 1-2. I think the fastest game I've ever broadcast was an hour and 38 minutes or something like that. I mean, that was remarkable. Two balls and 2 strikes to Nice, who's hitting .071. He's 1 for 14. Hamels and Neese both can handle the bat. Hamels probably a little bit more than Neese. And a call, strike 3. So 3 strikeouts for Hamels. Got that cutter on the outside part of the plate. So now he's at 1,556. He's closing on the great Chris Short after passing Kurt Schilling here today. Think Lefty has anything to worry about?
I don't think so.
Lefty with 3,031 as a member of the Phillies. Nogales fouls it back.
I like the way Cole's gone at these guys. I mean, I know the pitcher was the leadoff hitter in the inning, but on his fastball like he's, you know, he's not afraid to throw it down the middle. When you have a little hair on it, you're not afraid to throw it down the middle. Doesn't have to be on the corner every time.
The ball is bunted in the air, and Ruiz off to the mask quickly. That's the catch, 2 outs.
You know, the whole series so far we've seen both catches on each side coming out of the batter's box very quickly, and Chooch sees that the ball's popped up and jumped out, made a very easy play.
Well, now Daniel Murphy 0 for 1. Fly to Mayberry his first time up.
That's it. We can play this short inning game too. See, get 2 quick outs, just go right at this guy.
Well, I think what you're saying too, Mike, about being able to throw that fastball, even if it's down the middle because you got some hair on it, you're not going to nibble. You're just going to go right after the hitter. Curveball, 1-1. Like Murphy was having a conversation with himself in the batter's box. They had the 1-2 pitch coming to him. Swing and a miss. He got it with a curveball. 4 strikeouts for Cole Hamels. He retires the side in order here in the 3rd. So we played 2.5 here in South Philadelphia. Hamels has got his strikeouts going here this afternoon. We'll be back at the bottom of the 3rd after this. On to Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, guys, who is the only Mets player ever to lead the National League in slugging percentage? Answer will be revealed a little later on. Not so quick to write your answer down there, Matt Stairs, are you?
Schmitty's here. He can answer it today.
First pitch to Brignac is a strike. It's 0-1. Brignac hitting 200. No homers, 1 RBI. Getting a chance to start for the third straight day. One and two. Brignac is 2 for 10 in the series. He has walked 3 times. He also struck out 6 times. Phillies are continuing to try to patch third base together until Cody Ashley comes off the disabled list. Outside, 3-2. Well, if Brignac can get on, then Hamels maybe can sacrifice him up to second. Ground ball right side, and Murphy's got it. Pirouette. Nice play all the way around. 1 out. I didn't think he was going to get to that ball.
Nice play. Murph's made a couple of. I haven't seen that much of him, but the last few days I've seen a lot of him.
Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com for your local dealer today. Well, there's the Cliff Lee action figurine given out today to all fans 14 and under. Thanks to the folks at Total. Here's Cole Hamels, 3 for 14 on the year. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. Mike, would you have liked to hit against a lefty like this? That one's out towards second.
Do I have to answer that?
Well, I think I know the answer. I guess I wanted to see what your approach would be against a lefty like this.
Well, in all seriousness, I would figure that most likely he's going to pitch a little backwards to me. You know, a little backwards, kind of show me the fastball early.
Out of the strike zone.
Yeah, you know, high, away, ball 1, and then hope that I'm over aggressive on the 1-0 in the fastball counts. You know what I mean? Hope that I'm over aggressive, much like Jamie would pitch me. Most left-handers would pitch a guy like me backwards.
Ben Revere grounded out his first time up.
You know, the funny thing is a lot of times we look at left-handers in the big leagues and say, you know, if he was right-handed, he wouldn't be in the big leagues. I'm not saying this about him, about Nice, but you know, there are a lot of pitchers. Look at this one.
It's going to be a tough play. Darnell, a one-hopper, and Revere beats it out for an infield hit.
There's a lot of left-handed pitchers, and yeah, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Mac probably faced him that wouldn't be there if they weren't left-handed, and they use you know, guile and deception and pitching backwards as their road to victory. Yeah,
if Jamie kind of talked about that yesterday in a different way when I asked him if his sons ever pitched, and he said no, they were right-handed. You need to be special. You have to have one specialty if you're right-handed in order to pitch, and they're better off being position players.
Well, and lefties are usually crafty, and I think
crafty, great word.
What Mike says about pitching backwards is, you know, fastball situations where you think you're going to get a fastball, you're going to get off-speed pitches. That's the way the American League used to be. American League used to be a backwards pitching league. So if you're getting a 3-1 count, you're going to see an off-speed pitch. National League was more 2-0, 3-1. Here comes a fastball and see what you can do. Now all of a sudden it's changed, and a lot of situations now you see a lot of people pitching backwards in the count because of, 1, the size of ballparks, and 2, the size of ball players now and how much power there is.
I think it is interesting how it's evolved over the years, you know, and how there was a difference at one point between the American League and the National League.
National League was a fastball league, a speed league. The American League was a, you know, crafty slider, pitch, throw breaking balls when in fastball counts.
Chopper to third. Wright gets it off the big hop, and the side is retired. 5-3 on the putout. Phillies do get a base runner here in the third, but they leave that base runner over at first. We've completed our first 3 innings. We go to the 4th. It's the Mets nothing and the Phillies nothing. Green Mountain Coffee K-Cup packs keep you running and provides fan base satisfaction. Order by 11:30 and get free same-day delivery. Who but W.B. Mason?
We could continue that thought on the left-handers that wouldn't be in the big leagues. Quite the opposite is Cole Hamels. He could pitch with his stuff as a right-hander.
Absolutely.
You know, he's a power pitcher. Disguised changeup. He's almost. I go back to Andy Messersmith. Remember Andy Messersmith?
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, was really the only guy that had that kind of a changeup. Now there's a lot of pitchers with it, but you know, Cole, in my estimation, has a Messersmith type changeup, unhittable when it's right.
David Wright takes inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Wright struck out his first time up. Hamels has struck out 4 so far through the first 3. Hamels wasn't pleased with the location of that pitch. The liner out towards center field. Revere is not going to get that one. It's going to go to the wall. And Wright will pull into second with a leadoff double here in the 4th. 13th double of the year for David Wright. Guy's pretty steady over there for the Mets.
He sure is. A great young man, plays hard, plays every day. He waits on the ball, squared up the fastball right down the middle right there.
All right, so he's in scoring position to begin the 4th, and here's Eric Campbell. Campbell struck out looking his first time up. Campbell was trying to shoot that ball the other way if he could.
Your prototypical cleanup hitter generally is not asked to advance runners. They don't want to take the bat out of his hand. They don't want him to give up an easy out. However, I thought it was cool when I played. I mean, I wanted to be able to do the things that the game called for in that at bat. And in trying to hit the ball the other way, good things can happen. You stay on the ball, you stay in the middle of the field, you hit a long fly ball, ground ball, you get a base, and anything to the right. If you roll over a ball trying to juice it at the last second. You don't advance that runner, the momentum goes to the other team.
We talk all the time about trying to get the ball the opposite way, at least to move the runner, but maybe get a base hit out of it too by going the other way.
Well, I think, and especially in the middle of the order, you want to drive that guy from second to third, but the key word is drive. You still take the approach of, especially if you have power, and Schmidt knows he could drive the ball along with or right center. That's the approach you take, because now there's no excuses by the rollover hitting to third base or second base. You think right center. And I do mean right center, not just right field, because what happens is your barrel drops. And then you'll hit a weak fly ball to right field, but drive it through right center.
Cole's got him set up pretty well right now. I think he's got him to foul off a couple of good fastballs. And if you want him to roll over, it's perfect time for his good changeup now.
And he hasn't thrown a lot of changeups here in the first few innings. He's trying to establish that fastball. He's thrown a few curveballs, the cutters.
Well, and that's what we saw in New York. He didn't throw a lot of changeups early, and then I think it was like 9 of the next 13 pitches he threw for changeups. So maybe it's a thing how it feels coming out of his hand early in the game.
Curveball inside, 2-2. Bob McClure is scheduled to join us in just a little bit. Phillies pitching coach. Two balls and 2 strikes. Out of play, and it remains 2-2.
Yeah, he looks like he is trying to hit the ball to the opposite field. For me, the problem is he's staying inside the ball, but inside on the bottom half of the ball. Yeah. Where I would like to see, I don't want to coach the Mets hitters, but I'd like to see more of a hands, the barrel of the bat going to the upper equator, above the equator in the ball.
Campbell spent the last 2 years in AAA. He hit 8 home runs last year with 66 runs batted in, 3 home runs this year. He's hitting .355 when the Mets called him up. We were at Citi Field when the Mets called him up. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Campbell.
There's a changeup, a rollover.
Yep, barehanded by Brignac and not in time. So first and third. That was a good pitch.
Yeah, and he got to roll over down the third baseline. Matty, what do you think? I'd like to see maybe let that ball go, see if it rolls off the infield grass, maybe takes a little left turn, foul.
I agree 100%. That was a good changeup, and Mike, I agree 100%. Because it's going to make a perfect play in order to throw him out. So you might as well sit back and just take a chance that it's going to go foul.
So now with nobody out, runners on the corners. And here is Chris Young, who singled his first time up. So he's set up to try to turn 2. First pitch is in there.
There's nothing Cole can do about that. I mean, that was a good exchange, pitcher hitter, the previous batter. He's trying to go to right. He's trying to go to right. He's trying to go to right. Cole got the rollover to the left side of the infield. Just happened to be a swinging bunt. Nothing you can do about it. Hitter was rewarded for thinking the right thing.
Chris Young hitting .206 on the year, 4 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Fly ball down the left field line into foul territory. Brignac makes the catch. Wright's heading home. The throw to the plate is Not in time. They tried to do everything they could to field it on the hop and apply the tag, and they nearly got him, but Wright slides in safely.
It's great base running. I might appeal that play at third just for the heck of it.
I was wondering the same thing just to see.
And it was a great defensive play and a great effort at trying to throw him out at home. Really nothing you can do about that. I mean, Chooch could have maybe caught the short hop throw, but that was good baseball all the way around, base running and defensively. He just couldn't handle the throw at the plate.
Boy, if he did get the scoop, he would have had him.
Yeah.
It's a bang play. That's a hard play for a catcher. Well, they're not going to appeal it, so it's 1-0 New York. Now there are points later on in the game where you may just let that one go and not catch it. Here in the fourth inning, it was a scoreless ball game. You make that play if you're Brignac, and it was a heck of a play. Campbell, by the way, went to second on that.
Quite honestly, most base runners wouldn't have taken that chance. There actually was no outs, correct?
No outs. Yeah.
Wasn't even the smartest play by Wright. I mean, it looked good and all that, but you surely don't want to make the first out at home plate in that case.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Would you have gone if you were him?
Probably not. Probably only because there's no outs.
Well, it is true, though. If he had fielded it in 1 hop, he would have been out. What about you, Matt? Would you have gone?
With my speed, no chance.
I was just trying to include you in the conversation.
Well, what I was going to say is that's his decision right there. The third base coach is not saying yes or no, you're going. You're making the decision. Wright turned around, and he was being very aggressive, and it paid off for the Mets.
And by the way, it should have been the third base coach's decision. Give me a good fake. Let's see what happens, but stay right here with 1 out.
Inside, 3-2 to Granderson. So the Phillies trail at 1-0. They count 3 balls and 2 strikes to Curtis Granderson. He singled up the middle his first time up. Tejada's on deck. And there's ball 4. So Granderson draws a walk. And now Tejada's up with runners on first and second.
You and I exchanged some texts yesterday during the game, and Philly pitchers are really fearful of Tejada.
It's remarkable. Tejada and also Bobby Abreu, they were fearful of the last couple of days, too.
With Abreu, as a matter of fact, looked like his old self, actually, the last couple of days. But
we mentioned Tejada's numbers have been good against the Phillies the last couple of years. There's a check swing, slow roller. The only play will be to first. Yeah, there are 2 outs. So runners move over to second and third. And then d'Arnaud is coming up.
It was the old check swing with two men on used to make you a little mad as a hitter.
Well, it took him a long time to start trotting back to the dugout. He was walking on the infield dirt looking at the video board.
I'm not really sure what he was checking, see how his check swing was or where the pitch was, but you're right, Tom. He was taking his time.
Well, they'll intentionally walk d'Arnaud. They'll hit into a 5-4-3 double play. His last time. And there's ball 4 as Nice comes up. Time now for the Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Yesterday marked the third time since 1980 that two teams played 14 or more innings in back-to-back games against each other. Pittsburgh, Cleveland in 03, and Florida and San Francisco in 96. Well, let's hope there's not another cold hard fact tomorrow for 3 straight 14-inning games. Although if the Phillies win, it's okay. Ground ball to the right side. So with the bases loaded, Nice rolls over on one. The side is retired. A run does score on the sac fly to third by Chris Young. Middle of the fourth, 1-0. Mets on top. Go further. Buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. 1-0 Mets as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. And Phillies pitching coach Bob McClure has been nice enough to join us down in the dugout. Bob, we appreciate you coming on. What do you think from Cole so far through the first 4?
Well, I think he's competed pretty good right here. He's left a couple balls up that they've gotten too early, but I see him getting better as we go on.
And he seems to have gotten better as his starts have gone on, Bob, after missing that first month of the season, too.
Yeah, and, he's used to throwing. We were talking the other day, when he had that one start where he threw 130-some pitches, and he said he's used to going 115, 120 pitches, and he likes doing that. So I think that kind of helped him in a way.
Go upstairs. Bastardo, from spring training, from Bastardo during the season, what changes has he made, or what do you see the difference so far in the first 2 months?
As far as what, Stairsy?
Command and pound the strike zone, and the way he's walking around the mound, it seems like he's almost thinking too much. Yeah,
he might be. I think he's had a little trouble with the left-handers, getting his breaking ball over to the left-handers, and I think that once he's able to do that, then he'll straighten things out. And we're trying to encourage him to use his fastball down and away, especially the right-handers a little bit more. He's got a good fastball, and usually has pretty good command of that.
Bob, I saw you working with him in the bullpen before a game earlier. Is that important sometimes when a relief pitcher is scuffling a little bit to get a little extra work in before a game like that?
It is, especially when they're in that frame of mind to where they're kind of a little unsure of themselves right there, and it's just kind of a reassurance that let's get a little straighter. Going towards home plate, his direction was off a little bit, so that's kind of what we're working on. And then when it comes from there, usually he feels a little bit better about himself. And this game is built on confidence, and the more confident you are, you can do a lot of good things.
Well, you must be very happy with what you've seen with Mike Adams lately. He's going in there and being aggressive in the zone. Do you see his strength of his arm improving from what we saw earlier, or is it just more confidence right now?
Well, one is, he is more confident, and the other is, he's able to pitch actually more than I thought he was going to be able to. He's gone 7 out of the last 14, 15 days, which kind of surprised me, but he's come up and said, I'm ready to go. So, you know, like everything, hitting, pitching, and everything. You know, the more confident, the better you do. The more confident you get, and the more confident you are, the better you're going to be.
Do you have a lot of starting pitchers yesterday lined up to want to come into that ball game? Did guys go up and say, "Hey, I can get you a couple innings here"?
Yeah, I had actually 2 of them, Hernandez and Burnett. Actually, Burnett wanted to put his spikes on too.
I guess we for everybody watching the games the last couple of days, there's a lot of coaching and managing and decision making going in to try to get through those 2 14-inning ball games.
Yeah, they've been so close to where one error here, or one mistake there, or one bad hit, one extra base hit like that is could be the ball game. So a lot has gone into it, and with having 3 left-handers in the bullpen has really helped.
Carlos Ruiz with a 1-out double here in the bottom of the fourth inning. That'll certainly help the Phillies' cause. And it'll bring Ryan Howard up to the plate.
Well, while you guys are talking about pitching, I'll just explain to you that Carlos Ruiz just hit another line drive. The only thing I know about pitching, it was tough to hit.
Yeah, and this kid can hit, too.
See, Bob likes that because a good offensive Carlos Ruiz doesn't matter how it is because he still takes his catching seriously for those pitchers out there, Bob.
Yeah, he does. As much as anybody I've ever seen, he is into the game. If we lose, he takes it very tough, and he's a really, really good catcher, and have him behind the plate's an asset. It'd be almost kind of nice to have him play third base and have another catcher there because the guy can hit, and I think catching wears him down a little bit.
That's what you said. Mike said that before. That if he was out in another position, he'd be a 300 hitter.
No question about it.
Not only 300.
Whoa! That ball is crushed deep to center field. It is gone.
Nice.
2-run home run for Ryan Howard, and the Phillies have taken the lead here in the 4th inning. Bob, we're going to have to get you on more with stuff like this.
Well, yeah, I might have to stay on here the whole game.
Bob, you better run down and give Ryan Howard a little knuckle there.
I sure will. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Bob, thank you. Appreciate that.
RBI 1001 and 1002, right?
That's exactly it. That's a good swing right there.
That's a good swing. Like a ball middle out. Hit it right where it's pitched, and those kind of things happen.
Well, Virginia Langley just won $100 thanks to Ryan Howard's home run in our McDonald's home run jackpot. There's a pop-up on the first base side, and Campbell makes a sliding attempt, and he makes the grab. Well, that's a very good play right there by Eric Campbell, knowing where he was and braced himself with that slide.
Sure is. He had a long way to go and slid to prevent running into the fence there at the dugout. Back to Howard. I think 40 and 41. RBIs 40 and 41.
RBIs 38 and 39.
38 and 39. We're a third of the way through the season. For all those Ryan Howard detractors out there, multiply that times 3. And he has not really been hot.
No, getting those spurts, which is, he does get into, as a lot of power hitters do. He hasn't really slid into it. He's got 4 home runs now and 15 RBIs in his last 10 games. So that's a little productivity right there.
Nice attempt by Hernandez right there. Drop that bunt. Catch right back. Go ahead. Drop it.
First base side.
I'd like to see more of that. Every time a hitter like Hernandez goes up there, Jimmy, Ben Revere, they should check that third baseman out. Take that bunt base hit anytime you can get it.
No balls and 2 strikes to Hernandez. 2-1 Phillies on top thanks to a home run by Ryan Howard. Fly ball shallow right. And Granderson puts it away. Side is retired. Well, Ryan Howard goes center field on this one. It's home run number 11. RBIs 38 and 39. He sized that baby up. And he took it out over the State Farm side to give the Phils a 2-1 lead here in the 4th. as we go to the top of the 5th inning here at Citizens Bank Park, thanks to Ryan Howard's 2-run home run. And Juan Lagares will lead it off for New York. It'll be Lagares, Daniel Murphy, and David Wright, 1, 2, and 3. Lagares is 1 for 2. He singled. He's also popped out to Ruiz. And that one just missed inside. 1-0. There's a stat that was in the Phillies notes yesterday with Ryan Howard picking up some more home runs recently, that when he homers, the Phillies have an unbelievable record. They're 197 and 93 in his career when he homers. You know, when you have that pop in the middle of the lineup, it certainly alleviates some pressure from everybody else.
Are you talking to us?
I was just throwing it out there. It could have been rhetorical.
Matt and I were here looking at
I saw you.
his monitor of studying a Ryan Howard's home run swing there, but
a lot of times the stuff I say here and at home, it's rhetorical. It doesn't always get a response.
we're studying the stride and the slow motion videotape replay of Ryan's home run, as a couple of hitters would do while you're over here chatting away with you.
All right, well, tell me
millions of people.
What did you guys? Here it is. What did you guys think of this?
Well, this is what I saw. This is what I saw earlier yesterday in his first couple of bats, and all of a sudden he's getting his foot down early. Now he's doing what's the load. It's almost like a double movement. Now all of a sudden yesterday when he hit the home run, and as well as today, if you notice with his front foot, it's more of a little leg kick, getting the momentum going back and driving it to the zone. So compared to the video you saw on the left-hand side, he was getting his foot out there early, stopping, then starting. Compared to today and late last night when the home run, is that the way he, so here's yesterday on the left, right here. Watch his foot, how he gets it out, and he moves it and stops it. Now all of a sudden you see on the right-hand side, everything's in that nice, easy motion and going through the zone, through the ball.
I got you. I do see rhythm in the tape on the right. I do see rhythm through the ball, and on the other side I see a static and then a swing.
Right, because usually what guys like to do, who are power hitters, who have the toe tap, they step backwards away from the pitcher. And stepping towards the pitcher, all of a sudden you have your motion. You step towards the pitcher, stop. Now you got to restart your momentum. You got to try to get back in that hitting position. Where with the home run today and late last night, everything was in that motion back, and everything was going through a fluent motion towards the ball and driving that way.
Makes sense.
By the way, Murphy just struck out.
He
now,
did.
Now back to the important stuff. The stride basically is to create rhythm.
Right.
Rhythm into the ball and rhythm to allow your body to turn through the ball, which is what it looked like he had in that swing. Nice rhythm. Guys like Ryan Howard are so strong, they don't realize that you don't have to swing but maybe 60-70% through the ball if you have rhythm.
There's a tap or foul, and it's 0-1 to right. But it was noticeable, drastically noticeable, what you guys are saying about the rhythm, right side compared to left side.
Give Matt the credit. He picked that up.
Now the toe tap for a power hitter, Albert Pujols uses that similar sort of stance from the right side of the plate, the little toe tap. Fly ball, right field. Marlon Byrd puts it away, so a good shutdown inning for Cole Hamels. The Mets are retired in order here at the top of the 5th. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the Phillies 2 and the Mets 1. All right, guys, the question is, who was the only Mets player ever to lead the National League in slugging percentage? Now, I want you to first say the names that you thought it was originally, because I think that, it shows that they have had some good power hitters over the years.
I wrote down Foster and Delgado.
My first would have been Howard Johnson and Darryl Strawberry. And then when I said Darryl Strawberry's, your eyes got big, so I'm going to go with Darryl Strawberry.
Darryl Strawberry is correct. Back in 1988. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of Phillies prize pack. Babe Ruth holds the MLB career slugging percentage record of .690 for his career. Pitch by Brignac is fouled off. Here are the 80s, the leaders. Nice going there, Mike.
Holy.
80, 81, 82, 86. Dale Murphy, 83, 84. Boy, Dale Murphy could hit. Oh, and 2 to Brignac.
It never gets a mention related to the Hall of Fame. Dale Murphy.
A couple of years ago, it may have even been last year, there was his son put together a campaign, an internet campaign, to promote his candidacy for the Hall of Fame. Two-time MVP winner, back-to-back MVP winner. And one of the nicest people you'll ever come across in the game. He's also a good outfielder, too.
Came up as a catcher, right?
Came up as a catcher. Brignac grounded out his first time.
From 78 to, I don't know, was 85-ish, 86. He was one of the premier players in the National League.
Well, there are 2 outs, or excuse me, 1 out. That's the second strikeout for Nice. Murphy had 398 home runs during his career at 1,266 RBIs. Do you think if he had hit 450 as far as home runs go, people would look at him differently? Or do you think there's a different number that he had to? I mean, 398 is nothing to sniff about. Hamels pulls one toward the wall in right, and he thought about 2, and then at the last minute said, you know what, I'm going to stay right here.
Looked like he could have made that, didn't it? Oh, he had to play right in front of him, and he decided to reverse direction. Maybe he could see a good throw coming in. I don't know.
Oh, he slipped a little bit.
But quickly on the Dale Murphy thing, I'm not sure, if you go to 400, if they did 450, you said, well, he didn't hit 500 home runs. I don't know what the answer is. He just was one of the great players of his generation. Played a couple years here, right?
He did. Yeah, toward the end of his career.
91 and 92.
He was a strong guy. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. I wonder if the slip by Hamels, but also the fact that in his last start against the Marlins, he tried to go first to third on a ball to center field. He got thrown out at third base. I wonder if that was in his head, thinking, you know what, I took a chance there.
Well, I mean, also he got a good bounce off the wall. Usually that hits the wall and dies, but it hit the base of the wall and bounced right up to Granderson and turned around and made a quick throw.
There's ball 4, so he's on second anyway. Trutter's on first and second with 1 man down. Ben Revere walked on for only the 4th time this year. Well, it's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown at an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. We'll show that photo a little later on.
Would that go to the reasoning that you've used before, that he just gets so many fastballs that he doesn't walk much?
It's remarkable, though, as a leadoff hitter, he's only walked 4 times. Meanwhile, Jimmy Rollins has walked 31 times.
Well, we've seen a lot of things this homestand. First home run by Ben. His fourth walk by Ben. Back-to-back 14 innings.
Do you want to see something else here?
3-run home run.
One ball and 2 strikes to Rollins. Phillies up 2-1 thanks to a 2-run home run by Ryan Howard.
On-base percentage is not one of the first requirements for leadoff hitters these days. I was talking to a reporter earlier, and we talked about way back in the day how Bobby Bonds was a leadoff hitter, and he was always amongst the leaders in home runs and strikeouts. Had the National League strikeout record for a long time, therefore probably low on-base percentage, but you exchange that for 30-plus home runs, and as a leadoff hitter, probably 80 to 100 RBIs. Nowadays, on-base percentage around 300 is accepted by leadoff hitters. Ben's, in fact, I believe, is in the 290s.
The ball's hit towards short. That might be 2. There's 1 and 2. Hard to double up Jimmy Rollins, and that's the way to do it right there. 6-4-3 double play. Side is retired. Phillies leave 1 in scoring position. 5 of the books. We go to the 6th. It's the Phillies 2, Mets 1. Philly of the week is back from a tough 2013 that he's putting in his rearview mirror. Entering his 10th major league season, Mike Adams had one thing to prove: that he could return to form as the dominating right-handed reliever he was before arriving in Philadelphia. Once again in 2014, he is in total control, limiting base runners in the middle innings when called upon. Mike is displaying on the mound the reason he holds a stingy career ERA under 2.5. And his stinginess is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Oh, it's 2-1 Phillies as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Some celebrations going around the ballpark here today. In fact, usually at the end of the 5th inning is when the Fanatic has his dance going on. And see Laura with the tank top dancing with the Fanatic, plus one of her friends with the Fanatic dangle hat. Well, Laura thought, well, today I'm going to get to go to the ballpark and I'm going to dance with the Fanatic. Well, guess what else has happened for Laura? Her fiance, Joe Whalen, who's been serving in the Peace Corps for the last 2 years, made a surprise entrance. They haven't seen each other in a while, obviously. He was in Ethiopia. You can probably hear Dan Baker in the background describing it. So they are happily back together. See, the Fanatic brings people together.
Well, that got me goosebumps. That was pretty sweet.
Eric Campbell leads it off. Joe needs a haircut, though. He's been away for a couple of years. He needs a trim. Eric Campbell has reached our infield head and he struck out. And it's 1-1. Well, there's that changeup, basically in the same spot as the fastball, but obviously 8 miles an hour lighter, and the arm action was exactly the same.
I think this is an important inning for Cole. You need the middle of the batting order here, and he's at 84 right now. If we want to see him around, in the 8th and 9th, I'd like to see a low pitch count inning here.
Bob was talking about the 133 pitches he threw against the Mets the last time, and since then he's at 90, 91, and 99 as far as his pitch count goes. In a lot of ways, this is as comfortable as we've seen him this year, the way he's throwing here today. Another foul ball. Over toward third, diving stab by Brignac. It's off his glove and it goes into foul territory, and it's far enough away to allow Campbell to go to second, and that'll be a double to lead off the 6th. Good at bat. He fouled a few pitches off and then finally got one he could pull.
A heck of an effort here by Brignac at third base. Unfortunately, just caromed off his glove to bring the double in. That was a double all the way.
I think it hit Marty in the shoulder, didn't it?
Did it hit him?
I think so.
Well, that was a 7-pitch at bat. Now Chris Young, who has the RBI today for the Mets on a sac fly into foul territory to the third baseman. Hamels has struck out 5 here this afternoon. Ground ball left side. Rollins backhand sets and throws, and it goes past Ryan Howard. I think it actually hit Chris Young. And Campbell will go over to third. That's the 4th error of the season for Rollins. And an E6, so first and third for the 2nd time in 3 innings for the Mets.
You see the replay here. Actually, it was a pretty easy play for Jimmy. Just lost control of the throw, and Ryan got hung up in the base runner. A lot of times you can step behind the bag, behind the base runner, but it looked like the throw was going to pull him off either way.
So at E6, runners on first and third, and here's Granderson. But just like earlier, the Phillies will concede the run to try to turn 2. Inside, 1-0. Out toward right field. Playable for Bird. Runner tags from third. Campbell will score. So 2 sac flies today for the Mets. And now they've tied the ball game up at 2.
Well, obviously, we didn't want to see the error and see him tie the ball game up, but that's not the worst thing that could happen right there. Now the score's 2-2. You had a man on first and 1 out. And if we could get out of this inning real quick here, limited the damage. I'd be glad that Granderson didn't get that ball up.
Yep. Ball had some topspin on it. It was coming down. So now Tejada with a runner at first. Tejada's 0 for 2. He's flied to right and he's grounded out to second. And Hamels will take a walk out behind the mound. Did he take a lot of walks behind the mound when he pitched for you in Clearwater?
I don't know. That might have been a reaction to Tejada taking a lot of time getting in the box.
Absolutely.
got to be at least hitting 250 to be able to take a lot of time as a hitter on the batter's box.
Ground ball foul, and it's 0-1. We had Bud Selig on the other day, and Bud said that they are, and he's leaving obviously in January next year, but they are going to look into speeding up the game, and one of the ways is to tell the batter he has to stay in the batter's box. Told a story that Hank Aaron said, listen, I never left the batter's box. Said it was understood.
Yeah, but they've had these rules in baseball where the hitter has 12 seconds to get in the batter's box. You can step up, get your signs, you have 12 seconds. There's a certain amount of time a reliever comes in from the bullpen. I mean, they don't say those rules anymore. I mean, that's. I mean, you got guys walking around the mound all the time, 35 visits to the mound.
Well, if they took Velcro out of the game, then the hitters wouldn't back out better.
I thought
so much. They're infatuated with the Velcro on their batting gloves.
I thought about that yesterday. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Lucas Duda, and I'm not picking on him, but every time he got out of the batter's box, tightened his Velcro.
Oh, it drives me crazy. They got to back out, and it's really like
it's a tick.
Yeah.
Where it goes, ball hit toward the hole, backhanded by Rollins, long throw in time. 2 outs.
More on the Velcro later, but Jimmy made a nice play there after coming off the arrow on a very similar play. You know, he kind of squared up with his feet and a nice crow hop and got straight on top. And but in fact, that was a tough play there. It was short backhand to a strike.
Well, they're going to walk d'Arnaud for a second time intentionally to face Jonathan Neese.
Tell you, you want to watch somebody, you want to watch a game, watch those Red Sox. And Justin Pedroia with the backing out of the box and the batting gloves every pitch.
Johnny Gomes too.
Well, Nomar Garcia-Parra got out and he used to fix the batting gloves.
His feet,
the double toe tap.
I didn't even know he's doing it, right?
Friday, June 27th, the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves will begin what's going to be a 4-game series in 3 days. There's a day-night doubleheader on the 28th, and fireworks following the Saturday night game against the Braves. Sunday, the 29th, Rothman Institute Dominic Brown jersey, free to fans 14 and under. For tickets, go to Phillies.com. Here's Jonathan Neese. He's 0 for 2.
Cole has to bear down right here, get this guy out, limit the damage. Even as a pitcher now, you can make good pitches, get him out, get in the dugout. You know, Jimmy will say, my bad. It's only 2-2. We're fine.
Decent splits, 62 strikes, 38 balls. And it's 0-2 to Neese in the pitch. Outside, 1-2. Well, he went 2-2 the last time he faced Neese, and he threw him the cutter and got him to. Or excuse me, the first time he was up and got him to strike out looking. Last time he swung at the first pitch and he grounded it to second. And a call, strike 3, right on the outside part of the plate. According to the home plate umpire Brian Honora, 6 strikeouts for Hamels. The Mets do tie it up on a sac fly. Middle of the 6th inning. It's a 2-2 game. By Delaware Valley Honda. Visit your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer or shop honda.com. By McDonald's. Any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's. I'm loving it. By Budweiser. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. And by AT&T. Mobilizing your world. Well, the Italian market here in Philadelphia. One of our camera operators, Greg Farnese, is singing at the Italian Festival on East Passyunk later on today. So if you get a chance to go out there, if you're looking for something to do. Greg is a big fan of Frank Sinatra, and that's a lot of his performances are Frank Sinatra songs.
While they're checking this ball, you know what I did yesterday?
What'd you do?
Something I've never done. I walked around downtown Philly.
Did you really?
I sure did.
Did anybody stop you?
Nope.
Did you wear a hat
Just goes
and
to show
sunglasses?
you how old I am now. Not a person. Not a person. Just, I had a hat on and some sunglasses, but I mean, I walked around Rittenhouse Square. There was a big bazaar going on. It was lit up downtown Philadelphia. I had no idea that it was, you know, it's such a beautiful place.
Oh, there's some great places. I mean, obviously the historical sites are one thing. Bird loses the bat.
He broke it.
He broke the bat. How did he break the bat?
That bat had to be broken.
It must have, right?
No, you've seen the size of his forearms.
Yeah, but
he
really didn't check. It was a little bit of a check swing, wasn't it?
Jim Rice did that once on a check swing.
He just said, I'm just too strong.
No. That bat broke on the swing, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a check swing. The inertia, the momentum of the swing broke that bat.
I don't think I've seen that before. He got a new bat and he smokes it into the crowd over the tarp on the left field line.
Plan on seeing that on ESPN, if I'm allowed to say that.
Seriously.
Wow. Marlon Byrd breaks his bat swinging.
Well, Bob Garrett is the bench coach for the Mets. I mean, Marlon played for the Mets last year. He was giving him a hard time. And that's what he said. He goes, I'm just too strong.
I heard of breaking a golf club.
Yeah, but usually it's when you hit the golf club on the ground. There's a strikeout and there's one away. They're the sixth. Second strikeout of Bird this afternoon. Third overall for Nice. Carlos Ruiz is coming up. Matt's trying to get out to the Rocky statue tomorrow. He wants to go to the art museum to see that.
I actually might go tonight. As a matter of fact, if we don't play another 14 innings, I will go tonight.
I invited him tomorrow. I'm going on a tour of the city with my daughter.
I heard about that yesterday.
And I invited Matt to come with us. This is where Matt's going to go. He's going to get a pose of this shot. Carlos pulls one into left, a base hit. Well, Ryan Howard is due up. Murph, pretty nice swing the last time Ryan Howard was up for the Phils.
Yeah, you guys have been talking about it. 15 RBI in his last 10 games. So hopefully Ryan Howard, the big piece, is starting to heat up. We told you that he reached 1,000 RBI last night. Take a look at this list. He is the fastest active player to get to 1,000. It took him 1,230 games to get 1,000 RBIs. You look at that list: Albert Pujols, A-Rod, Mark Teixeira, David Ortiz, and Cabrera all on that list. Ryan Howard got there faster than any of them. Very impressive, certainly, doing what he's been able to do. And certainly it would help if he can continue to stay hot. Yes.
It's remarkable to think about the numbers he's put up. I mean, he started his major league career a little later than many guys. But even the number of home runs that he's put up in this short period of time, even with the injuries that he's had the last couple of years, he's still the quickest among active players. Two balls and no strikes to him.
It's a nice, easy swing, good timing. Fastball outer half. It's going to give him a lot of confidence for hitting a home run off Nice, who's had some trouble with him in his career.
Yeah, 4 for 23 against Nice. Just 67 pitches for Nice and 5 1/3 so far.
Well, now's when I'd like to see him sit on the breaking ball, the off-speed stuff, and just peck away at the fastball. That's it. Just get a piece of it. Just get a piece of it. Just make sure you don't jump out and overreact to something off-speed. It's out of the strike zone. Just choke up, get a piece of the ball. Ball will still go 400 feet. And again, it's valuable to the Phillies for Howard, for Ryan, these at-bats. We've talked before about it, to lay off, you know what I mean, with 2 strikes, to take the walk. There's guys behind him that can do damage.
Swing and a miss. Fastball, and it's the 4th strikeout for Nice. There are 2 outs.
Tough spot for left-hander to handle a fastball from a left-hander. Previous couple pitches he was throwing little cutters at 90-91. That one there has to be like a little backdoor sinker. You got Ryan Howard to swing over top of it.
Oh, with 2 outs, here's Mayberry. He's 0 for 2. He's lined out and he's popped out on a fine play by Campbell, the first baseman, his last time up. Both of Mayberry's home runs have been pinch hit home runs this year. Popped him up. Murphy, the second baseman, puts it away, and the side is retired. So no runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left for the Phillies. We have completed 6, and as we go to the 7th inning, it's the Mets 2 and the Phillies 2. Our local Honda dealers game summary. Both pitchers have been pretty good here this afternoon as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Chris Young and Curtis Granderson have sacked flies for the Mets. That's how they've scored. Ryan Howard's 2-run home run has gave the Phils a 2-1 lead at one point. But now as we go to the top of the 7th, we're all leaving at 2. And it'll be the top of the order up for the Mets. Lagares, Daniel Murphy, David Wright against Cole Hamels. Hamels has struck out 6 so far. And he starts him off with a pitch low, 1 ball and no strikes. That is a foul ball just past Reed Brignac. It's 1-1. Brignac a little slow to get up from that dive. Taps a curveball foul. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. These lucky fans are today's Citizens 7. They will receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank. Good banking is good citizenship. Curveball pulled toward third. Knocked down by Brignac. Has to hurry and not in time. And that'll probably be, well, we'll see how they score it. I think they'll score it in error, but we'll wait for the official score to put it up.
That's a tough error. It's a line drive, short hop. They do score at E5. That's a tough error right there.
Kind of ate him up.
You know, funny thing, when I played third base, I would much rather have them give me an error than the guy get a base hit. That's just my attitude. I would rather have an error than the opposing player get a base hit.
So it had nothing to do with the pitcher. You just didn't want the hitter to get the base hit. The pitcher not.
I didn't want one of my opposing hitters to get a base hit. Give me an error. Give me all you want. I don't care. Who cares? Now, if I was the hitter, it's a different story.
I was going to say,
I want to hit on that
was
ball.
On the other foot.
Smoke a line drive right in front of the third baseman. I want to hit.
0-1 to Murphy.
Now, Smitty, do you think it would have made a little difference if he picked it up barehanded instead of going glove to hand?
Absolutely, and I think it might have made a little difference if Ryan would have maybe given a little stretch and a walk off the bag and sort of cheat move over there. I don't think that was a give up play. We might run the replay of that if we can, but Ryan just caught the ball assuming that there was going to be no play. Yes, I believe going at it barehanded and throwing might be the only way to get him.
No balls and 2 strikes. Ground ball towards second. That could be 2. There's 1. Ooh, tough play. And they're saying he's safe at first. Or safe at second, excuse me. The second base umpire, Corey Blazer, says that Rollins was pulled off the bag. So they do get the trail runner 4-6-3 on the put out at first.
Jimmy's not complaining. Jimmy's not disputing the call, so it really must have pulled him off. And there's Larry on the phone.
Yeah, he's off.
You know, if it had been a good throw to him and he had done the same thing with his feet, they'd have called him out, right? It's the old in the area play.
Yes.
You know, that's right. If it would have been a good flip, double play flip, they would have called the runner out.
Well, and there are a couple things too. You know, Rollins was off the bag there. Lagares was nowhere near the second base bag on the slide. Not that it impacted Jimmy at all as far as his throw goes. But yes, I do believe it was a better throw when he was up. The Mets may have contested it, but they, have sort of allowed the neighborhood play to continue even with replay.
Bob McClure coming out saying, what do you think here, Cole? Should we walk David Wright?
Well, what would you guys do? I mean, you have first base open. It's a 2-2 ball game. This is, their most productive hitter. It's the guy that you don't want to have beat you.
4 fingers, Matt. There is no question. He's just coming off a double off the center field wall, too.
So the meeting is over. We'll head back and see what Ruiz does.
Generally, that comes from the bench and the manager, so we'll see what happens here. Could have gone out and said, we're going to pitch him tough, which means fastballs out of the strike zone, change-ups in the dirt, and see if we can get a head up and get him to chase.
In the dirt, 1-0. This is where Hamels has to be careful, because we've seen a couple times this year where he's been victimized with runners in scoring position in similar spots like this.
The reason you walk him, from my position, is because you can't go wrong by walking him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, I can't think of anything other than David Wright's not beating us.
Well, I think that's the big thing there. And then you put the double play in order with one man down with Campbell up, the on-deck hitter, who's a less experienced hitter. Curveball that misses, 3-0.
So, I mean, Matt, are pitchers that good where he can throw those 3 pitches somewhere where he can reach them and walk him is sort of the intentional unintentional walk, right?
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I can see if he's like Jamie Moyer. I think Jamie Moyer was, where he could nibble on that outside corner and get something to fish. But Cole's gone out and he's thrown the backdoor curveball and the changeups, and game's changed, hasn't it?
Fastball just below the knees, first pitch.
Curveball in the dirt. I mean, just low enough where it didn't get away from Ruiz, where it was in the perfect spot. They tried to get Lagares sleeping off the second base bag, but he was able to get back. So now with one man down and runners on first and second in a 2-2 game, Hamels will go after Eric Campbell, who does have a double and a single in this game. Breaking ball, 0-1.
And back to that walk him or don't walk him point, back when I played, I'd go out of the strike zone. I mean, you don't have to throw me a strike. I'm swinging the bat. If you're going to, you know what I mean? If you're going to pitch to me in this at bat, I'm going to find something in here to swing at.
Another breaking ball that misses outside this time. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, and the other thing is if Brignac gets the air, which was a very tough play, but we had the routine double play ball that has to be turned, and you only get one out, and that's the guy at first base, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about that situation. So
very true.
It comes back to talking about the fundamentals. And as Jamie would say, now it's causing Cole now to throw an extra 6 pitches already, 7 pitches already from the double play ball.
And that was a routine one, too. 2 balls and 1 strike to Campbell. A high fastball, 2-2.
He's still throwing good. That ball, as I say, a lot of times had some hair on it.
.23 pitches in the 6th, now 16 here in the 7th. He'll try to get another fastball by him. 93 on that one. now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Chris Young is on deck for the Mets. Carlos Ruiz laying down some signs in front of the plate. Reynolds needs to make a pitch here with the count 3-2. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball on a Sunday afternoon here at Citizens Bank Park. Beautiful day. It's the 4th game of this 5-game series between the Phillies and the New York Mets. Tomorrow night they'll wrap up this series at 7:05 in the homestand. All right, obviously Cole wanted a certain pitch in a certain location. Ruiz was throwing down the signs, so they meet at the mound to talk about it. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Just in case the runners decided to take off on this 3-2 pitch, they turn back just to slow them up a little bit and see what they're doing.
Yeah, if the runners take off, they got to have the throw's got to go through to second base. That way the third baseman can hold his ground, knowing he's not going to cover the bag.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Threw him a changeup, and Campbell's down on strikes for the 2nd out. 7 strikeouts for Hamels.
No, that was a very nice changeup. It's amazing after 122 pitches, he comes out and all of a sudden he needs a huge pitch. He's been up in the zone throwing that fastball, showing the fastballs away, fastballs in. Now all of a sudden throws that nice changeup down and in and gets him to swing over top of it. Very good execution.
Right now he has to get Chris Young, who does have an RBI today and a sac fly. He singled his 2nd at bat. Runners lead off. Chopper foul. He threw him a changeup again. It's kind of the same pattern, Matt, that we saw up in New York, where he's gone to that changeup more and more in crunch time here.
Cole's showing a lot of heart today. In a game when they need him to go deep, he's over 120 pitches, coming up on 125. Still throwing good.
Ahead 0-2.
I'm amazed sometimes at how fans can bare hand balls like it's nothing. And I've been on the field many times and had a chance to bare hand the ball, and I don't want any part of it.
There was one down the right field line the other day that, I mean, that one,
saw it.
That was a line drive.
The foul home run, you mean the foul ball way down in the corner? Yeah, guy goes bing, catches it, no big deal.
Jimmy Rollins.
Yep. No balls and 2 strikes to Chris Young. The runners lead off 1st and 2nd. And a called strike 3. Outguessed him. 92. Right on the inside part of the plate. He got him looking. He leaves 2 here in the 7th inning. 8 strikeouts this afternoon for Cole Hamels. It's time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. And Hamels saved his best fastball for his last one location-wise. We'll go to the bottom of the 2nd. It's a 2-2 game as we go to the bottom of the 7th here at Citizens Bank Park. Hey, this season there are 3 chances to see the perennially fantastic post-game fireworks shows at Citizens Bank Park. Thursday, June 26th, Friday, June 27th, and then Saturday, the 28th of June. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Well, boys, Cole Hamels, Mike, you said it. He kind of gutted it out when his team really needed him to go deep in the ball game. He pitched very well here today. Yeah,
he sure did. Especially he looked like he was better at the end than he was in the beginning. I mean, struck him out on a 93 fastball there. The last couple of great changeups, Matt. A lot of heart, a lot of guts. Good timing.
It almost looked like in that inning, with the 7th inning with the errors, he said, all right, I'll take care of it my way and go out. And like you said, he reared back, and especially the last 2 hitters with Campbell and Young made some quality pitches. A great 3-2 changeup, and then struck out Young with 3 fastballs.
Well, his last 2 starts, look at those numbers against the Mets. I mean, people in this day and age, we talk so much about pitch counts, whether it's right or wrong, but 258 combined pitches in his last 2 starts against the Mets. 133 his last time out. He's due to bat 3rd in this inning. It'll be Hernandez, Brignac, and then the pitcher's spot. We'll see what happens. Cesar Jimenez and Felipe Almont both warming in the bullpen. And the bunt to the right side. It's a good bunt. Nice off the mound. Flips. Not in time. Excellent bunt.
Yeah, good idea. I was actually looking at the other side. David Wright was playing him back, but he went to the first base side with the push bunt. I don't think he did exactly what he wanted. I think he wanted to sort of push it at the second baseman, but he chopped it just enough for Nice to have to make a great barehand play. He decided to glove it. Right call by the umpire. Tie goes to the runner.
He's a lot closer than I thought. Naked eye, I thought he was across the bag.
We need to change this 2-2 score, Tom.
Another bunt. This one back toward the mound. Nice does not go to second. Goes to first. Sacrifice is successful.
I just don't want everybody smelling. you know what I'm talking about.
I got you.
Let's get a run here and hold them.
You don't want to experience 14 innings? I think you'd be really good at 14 innings.
Got a flight. But
well, Dominic Brown is going to be the pinch hitter for the Phils. Dominic's numbers as a pinch hitter, 6 for 34. So lefty on lefty. The only righty the Phillies have available off the bench today is Will Nieves, because they sent out Darren Ruff. So you figured it was going to be a left-hander, whether it be Gwynn, Utley, or Brown. The ball's at 1 strike to Dominic Brown. 0 for 9 against Jonathan Nice. One ball and 1 strike. Hernandez at second base. Base hit should give the Phils the lead. He threw that same pitch to Ryan Howard. And a line drive, base hit to left field. Hernandez froze for a moment, so he'll be stopped at third. The throw goes to the plate. Brown caught between second and first. Hernandez going to dance off a little bit, and Brown is tagged out on the base path. You understand what he's thinking. The ball went over the head of the cutoff man, but he just wasn't far enough around the bag to advance.
Well, from the Mets standpoint right here, the left fielder made a heck of a throw to home plate. Here he is. He's really not busting it all the way from the box around the corner. He'd have probably been able to go to second base. Once you sort of give up that idea of taking the extra base, you might as well just can it, because the Mets made a great exchange there.
Matt, I guess it's part of your keys, the 3 words. Great at bat, obviously, getting the hit off.
So right now he's saying, well, I got a single to left field. They overthrew the cutoff man. The problem is there was a perfect throw to home plate.
Just a mistake. And now with 2 outs, it's Revere with a runner at third. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to Ben.
You know, you'd feel bad for us, Juan Samuel. Everybody probably screaming at him down there.
But he's probably seething right now, knowing Juan Samuel. Chopper back to the box. East has got it. Side is retired. 1-3 on the putout. Phillies lead 1 over at third. We'll go to the 8th inning, and it's a 2-2 ball game here in Philly. To your local Nissan store for the ride of your life and save big today. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Chevrolet, visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. We haven't seen the Fanatic pull this one out in a while. That young lady was keeping up with him as best as she possibly could. It's like the pot calling the kettle black right there. We go to the top of the 8th inning here at Citizens Bank Park, and Cesar Jimenez will take over on the mound. Jimenez was 2-1 with an ERA of 1.67 down in AAA. And he'll take over for Hamels. Hamels today went 7 innings, allowed 6 hits and 2 runs. 1 of those runs earned. 4 walks and 8 strikeouts. Jimenez and Philippe Almont both arrived about 2 hours before the start of the ball game today, and you kind of figured that both would get an opportunity if this game needed some relief pitchers, because they're fresh and ready to go. Curtis Granderson will lead it off for the Mets here in the 8th inning. Bob McClure was talking about having the lefties out in the bullpen to 3. Well, you can add another one. 4 lefties out of the bullpen for the Phillies. Well, this series for the Phillies, the bullpen, this is what they've done. Hollins has been huge for the Phillies during this series. Probably not available today after throwing 64 pitches the last 3 days. Well, that kid's coming into his own faster and faster as this year's moving on. One ball, 2 strikes. 2-2. Vic Black, you're talking about a guy that's been used a lot in this series. He's up for the Mets. They added a pitcher today, Dana Eveland. That's DeFreitas who's throwing in the pen. Got him. One away. Ruben Tejada's coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy with the Major League Notebook. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. Brought to you by Gwynedd Mercy University, and the Pirates are looking ahead to Thursday's amateur draft. They added a pick today. They traded reliever Brian Morris to Miami in exchange for the 39th overall selection. It'll be their second pick in the first round, and their second highest pick. They'll pick 24th, 39th, and 64th. Now will the Pirates. And Mike Trout out for the second straight day for the Angels. Woke up yesterday with a bad back, a sore back right in the middle. He's undergone some therapy, but not ready to be in that lineup again today. They do think perhaps he could pinch hit in if necessary, but he's hoping they don't play again until Tuesday. They're hoping he'll be back in that lineup by then. But as you know, Mike Trout, guys, does not like being out of that lineup, but he must be hurting.
Must be hurting. That's a huge miss for them, considering they don't have Hamilton. And the injuries have really plagued them this year. No balls and 1 strike to Ruben Tejada. And he floats that one foul. It's 0-2. Off the hands, blooped out towards center, and that'll drop in front of Revere. So a 1-out single for Tejada. Every time the Phillies pitchers retired the opposition 1-2-3, which Hamels did to the Mets in the 3rd and the 5th this afternoon. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. A 1-out single, and here's d'Arnaud, who's been intentionally walked his last 2 times. Bobby Abreu's come out of the on-deck circle to pinch hit. Change up low. 1 ball and no strikes. Out of play, and it's 1-1. Tell you the Major League Scoreboard. We mentioned how big the series is between the Braves and the Marlins. Well, the Braves swept out Miami. They won today 4-2. Four runs on 9 hits for the Braves. So the Braves continue to hold the top spot in the National League East. There's the 1-1 pitch to d'Arnaud. Fly ball, shallow right. Marlon Byrd makes the call and puts it away. 2 outs.
I find that interesting, Tommy. Braves Is it a 2.98 team ERA?
Yeah, their pitching is
under three.
Even with the injuries, their pitching has been very good this year.
Because they are actually ranked several spots lower in hitting than the Phillies are. I mean, the Phillies, I think, are like 22nd in the league in overall hitting. The Braves are way behind the Phillies.
Well, the Braves are 6 games now over 500. They're 3 games ahead of Miami. The division. I think the other thing that's helping them, even with the injuries to the starters, their bullpen has been very good. I mean, Craig Kimbrell is going to become the all-time saves leader in Braves history, as he's tied right now with John Smoltz. He had a little speed bump early on this year, but he's kind of found himself. Swinging a miss by Neese, who would have been pinch hit for if somebody would have gotten into scoring position. Outside, 1-1.
Well, I'm still surprised. I mean, it may not have the personnel really at this point, but this says a lot about the last two days of 28 innings that they're leaving him in to hit even with 2 outs. Because in this ballpark, I mean, it doesn't take much to put some runs on the board. Wouldn't be very often you'd see the starting pitcher in his 4th at bat in this situation.
We had a spot yesterday where John Mayberry could have pinch hit for Jeff Manship. Sort of same theory in extra innings. They decided to let Manship hit in the 13th, and that's when he came up with the quad injury. And Ryan Sandberg said there was no chance Mayberry was going to hit, that it was sort of a decoy, that Manship was going to stay in, but that was also because he didn't feel like he had anybody else. Luzardo wasn't supposed to pitch yesterday, but when Manship got hurt, they needed to put him out there.
Well, I think Manship was out there until the end. I mean, towards the end. I mean, they didn't want to go to Bastardo again.
Or Roberto Hernandez, who was out there. Runner goes. Pitch is taken high. Throw to second is not there in time, but he got off the bag. And Rollins stayed with him. He just kept on sliding. Caught stealing at second base. That'll wrap up the top of the 8th inning. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. Got to stay with him. Head first slide toward the back end of the bag, and he just kept on going. He lost his chance to be the anchor. On his favorite smartphone or tablet are perfect for Father's Day. Dad will have access to features such as live look-ins, instant replay, live audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and much more. For more details, visit MLB.com. Well, time now for a Hyundai defensive play of the game. Jimmy Rollins really didn't have to do a whole lot on this one. He just had to stay with Ruben Tejada because this is a terrible slide.
Yeah, Chooch made a very strong throw to second base, and as you can see, he would have been safe by a mile, but kind of slid a little late and slid by the base, and Jimmy left the tag on the. They actually kicked Jimmy in the glove to make it very easy.
I mean, they're sliding to the back end of the bag, but he was sliding towards center field. 1 ball and 1 strike to Rollins. Rollins is 1 for 3 today. Fly ball to shallow center. Lagares makes the catch and 1 out. Well, just to give you sort of a look at the landscape for the New York Mets. This is what they've done in this 3-game series. We mentioned Black has been used a lot. He was used a lot on Friday night. 51 pitches in 2 games. Nobody's worked 3 straight days for the Mets. Mario Hollins has done that for the Phillies. Daisuke's worked a lot. 51 pitches as the long man. How about Familia yesterday? 35 pitches. Here's Marlon Bird. Breaking ball, 0-1.
Talk about that head first slide. I mean, right in my mind right now is ingrained a picture of Pete Rose diving into the bag.
You want to talk about somebody who got height.
Yeah, that's right. I was just going to say, Pete didn't necessarily just like lay down and go head first. Pete literally dove. You know what I mean? And he started early.
There's that great iconic shot of him getting into third base.
And his helmet would not be on.
Exactly. His helmet would be flying off. No balls and 2 strikes to Marlon Bird. And a high fastball, 2 outs. Marlon struck out 3 times today. He's 0 for 4. And that'll bring Carlos Ruiz to the plate.
Bad combination with Marlon. I know he works on it a lot. That uppercut, he has a slight uppercut. He's a low ball hitter and loving the high fastball. Those 2 things don't go together.
He's been productive numbers wise, but he's also struck out a lot on this homestand. And Carlos Ruiz takes a strike. It's 0-1. There's Papelbon warming up in the pen. Oh, and 2.
Chooch has 2 knocks and 3 crisp line drives in his previous at-bats today.
First time up, he lined out to center, hit the ball right on the nose. Jonathan Neese has thrown just 8 pitches here in the 8th inning. This will be number 9. Gets a strikeout, so back-to-back strikeouts to finish up the 8th inning. Said Cole Hamels is getting stronger as he was winding down. So is Jonathan Neese. He's due to lead things off as we go to the top of the 9th here in Philly. Citizens Bank Park. It's the start of a 3-game series against the Cubs. Sunday is Chevrolet Father's Appreciation Day. A free Phillies fedora for men 15 and older. There is the fedora. You can order tickets for that series by going to Phillies.com. We're tied at 2 as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Phillies and Mets have played the 14 innings in each of the last 2 ball games. John at the top of the bottle take over. 23rd game, 1-1, a 1.69 ERA. He'll take over for Cesar Jimenez, who pitched a scoreless 8th inning. Time now for the AT&T fan photo. This one coming from Azaria 555. Oh, there's a cutie. Thank you, Maria, for that one. A Phillies fan. Tweet your photo to hashtag Philly fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. It's the way to do it. Start them young. Here's Bobby Abreu. Boos have gotten louder for Bobby as he's picked up more hits as the weekend's gone on. A very nice courtesy cheer the first time he was introduced in game 1. Not so much the last couple of days.
You and I talked by text yesterday. Bobby has some nice numbers. Career numbers, and we might have differed a little bit on his Hall of Fame status.
Well, yeah, see, I don't think he is, but I do defer to your thoughts. I mean, you are a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame, so you know what should and shouldn't, who should and shouldn't be in there. At least.
Well, when you mentioned it, he was. Give us that stat again. The only 4 guys in history that have done what?
The walks to have more than 1,200 or 1,400 walks. He has 1,463. 400 stolen bases in a career.
Over 200 home runs.
And over 200 home runs.
You had Barry Bonds, Joe Morgan, Bobby Abreu, and
there was one more. Now I can't remember who the other one was.
That's enough.
But the names, Shimity's alluding to. I mean, there are some very impressive names. Ricky Henderson is the 4th. Thank you, Carl Graver. Up high 2-1. Well, some of the numbers that stand out for Bobby, you have to sort of put them all together. 2,453 hits, 571 doubles during his career.
That's more hits and doubles than I have.
288 home runs. He's shy of your number. Outside, 3-1. 1,463 walks. At a .396 on-base percentage for his career.
Numbers don't lie.
Well, he came back after missing a year. I think he wants to play, but he also wants to get above 2,500 hits if he can. On the outside corner, but it's 3-2. There's Lagares in the on-deck circle.
396 on base average.
396.
Wow.
And considering his average has gone down the last 4 or 5 years of him playing, that on base percentage was over 400 at one point. Because when he left the Phillies, his overall batting average was a .302.
He should get some votes.
I think you're right. I think he will be considered. I said to you I didn't think he was, but you can't deny that it's been a wonderful career for him. The 3-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat, out toward left center. Revere comes sprinting in, and Abreu's retired. Fans, the next time you're looking to pick up great seats to the game, head to StubHub, where you can earn 2% back in fan rewards on every purchase, including Phillies tickets. StubHub, your ticket to upgrades and more. By the way, he's also first among active outfielders, active right fielders in assists with 130. 22nd all time. There's Lagares, who's 1 for 4. Better get it before it melts.
And it looks good, doesn't it?
Does look good.
Must be Turkey Hill.
Yeah, we didn't show the selections today. Jamie likes Turkey Hill ice cream, so we show them all the time. Although Matt had some today. Official ice cream of the Phillies. 0-2 to Lagares. 1 for 4, as we mentioned. Showing no signs of the sore rib cage that kept him out of most of yesterday's game. 1-2. Papelbon's still sitting at 299 saves. He hasn't had save opportunities to get to number 300 for his career. Once he reaches 300, he'll tie Bruce Sutter and Jason Isringhausen on the all-time list. That's a foul ball, and it remains 1-2.
Bruce Sutter with just 300 saves?
Yeah, with just 300. I was surprised to see that. Now, when he did it,
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, when he did it, he would. He would at times save games more than 1 inning at a time. I mean,
same with Gossage.
Yeah.
A crazy number. How many 2-inning saves he's got? How many 3-inning saves he's got?
Outside. Gives Sutter exactly 300. His high was 45 back in 1984. That year he had 71 games, but he had 122 2/3 innings as a relief pitcher. 122 2/3 in 71 games. Swing and a miss, 2 outs. Two outs, we go to the bottom of the 9th. If he can get Murphy here.
See Church set up low and away looking for that slider, and we've noticed that Papelbon has gone to that slider lately more than he's been throwing that split finger fastball and getting guys out in front of it.
I agree. He did that yesterday, didn't he?
Yep.
It looks to me like he's dropping down a little more 3/4 on that thing too, to give it a more side break, a more sweeping action.
Popped him up left side. Jimmy Rollins calls off Reed Brignac, does a little toe tap, makes the catch, side is retired. So here we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. We seem to have said this over and over again over the last couple of days. It'll be Ryan Howard, John Mayberry, and Cesar Hernandez in a 2-2 game. Delivery of the ball game. The Phillies had the lead after this delivery by Ryan Howard back in the fourth.
Yeah, I think Ryan lately hasn't been missing the fastball. At least one to low and away in the strike zone. Hit a fastball over the zone and drove it to deep to left center.
Well, unfortunately, that's the only delivery the Phillies have had here this afternoon. They will get into the Mets bullpen as we go to the bottom of the ninth inning. I don't care how old she is. She's got to be dizzy after he does that. She's laughing, though. She's enjoying it. Scott Rice will take over. 1-1, a 5.11 earned run average. I made a mistake. I mentioned that nobody's pitched in all 3 games. Rice did.
Yeah.
And Rice, the one game, it was an intentional walk, so that's why you didn't see his numbers up on the board. So he's on here.
Now, I was just kidding about the 14 innings. I was trying to use that reverse psychology saying we want 8.5. So.
Well, you've tried over the last couple of days to sort of dictate how many innings we're going to play. Mike's decided that we have to stand for this one because we're changing our luck. In a few minutes, we're going to have to switch spots.
We're going to do the football thing here.
Yeah. Well,
Mike, we could let Mike do play-by-play.
We tried that the other night. It didn't work.
But we won.
We did, but it was like 3 innings later that we won. Well, here we go. The bottom of the ninth inning. After 28 innings the last 2 days, the Phillies will try to win it here in the bottom of the ninth against the Mets bullpen. Ryan Howard leads it off. He's 1 for 3. Taking all the way. He takes outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Josh Edgin is warming up in the bullpen for the Mets. Justin DeFreitas out in the bullpen for the Phillies. 1 ball and 1 strike.
So why didn't you just push a little bunt toward third base?
At this point, I think we'll take that.
Because it's a pretty good chance if he's going to bunt this next pitch, it'll be either a hanging slider or a fastball right down the middle saying, why didn't I hit that other ballpark?
Right.
Outside and low, 2-1.
I was just imagining how many people out there that were thinking that.
Well, there are people agreeing with you. Same thing with Jim Thome. Jim Thome, they used to say it all the time to him. Why don't you just bunt it down the third base line? 2-2. Rice for Howard. Maybe Black for John Mayberry. See how Terry Collins plays this inning. Chopper right side. Not hit that hard. Charging is Tejada. And he gets it there just in time. There's 1 away. Immediately after the game, stay tuned for Ricky Metallico's breakdown of today's matchup. Only on Pure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Postgame Live.
Well, that's a guy coming from right field. Charging the ball, making a heck of a play on an in-between off to get Ryan at first base.
Well, Terry Collins is heading out toward the mound, and that's going to be it for Scott Rice. Larry Anderson's decided to join in with us. He's going to stand as well. Never mind. He's not going to join anybody. He's out of here. Well, he's had enough. Pitching change, so Larry's going to go take a breather. We're going to stay standing. If it doesn't work, I don't know. We'll sit down on the floor and do the rest of the game. We've got a pitching change in a 2-2 game. who was leaving to the radio booth. What was he doing? He was going to get that shirt, which has got a watermelon across the top. Oh, yeah, and he's also putting on the Fanatic fun glasses. Mike and Matt have also jumped in, but they're going a little more conservatively with the regular sunglasses. They're looking a little cooler than LA is, although LA's looking kind of cool in that shirt.
There's our glasses right there on Fanavision.
Yeah, the glasses are all around the ballpark. They were given out the other day. Well, we're not there yet. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning. It's a 2-2 game. We've got extra innings the last 2 days. 14 innings on Friday, 14 innings on Saturday. And here on Sunday, Phillies still have 2 outs to play with this here. Vic Black will take over his 4th game. It's been a workhorse for the Mets in 2 of the 3 games. And John Mayberry will be the batter with 1 man down. Mayberry today has lined out, popped out twice. He's 0 for 3.
That get over curveball. Hate those things. Strike 1.
That ball got his bat, and it's 0-2. Now again, the Phillies are playing 1 extra player down because Ruff was sent down, so they have 3 guys left on the bench now, including Chase Utley. The Mets did have another left-hander warming in the bullpen after the Phillies decided to send Utley up against instead of Cesar Hernandez, who's on deck. And it remains 0-2. There's Cesar. Check swing, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. They do appeal.
That was a good take. That was a nasty curveball. Nasty 2-strike curveball.
Jonathan Papelbon pitched the scoreless top of the 9th inning. In a very good month of May. Now he starts June basically the same way.
Well, one thing we've seen from Vic Black is a guy who can throw upper 90s. He's a 2-pitch pitcher, and he's got a very good curveball as well.
There's that curveball, 2-2.
Hey, the Mets impressive to me. Bullpen, 2 young starters the last 2 days. They got a lot of studs there to build on, young studs.
Well, they got another kid at AAA who's considered their top pitching prospect right now. He's on the disabled list. He's got a little arm issue, but they expect that he's going to be up at some point middle of this year. 2-2 pitch to Mayberry. Breaking ball, all 3. I think Black wanted that one. What do you guys think? You have to take your sunglasses off to look at that one.
He's hearing it. He's hearing it from the dugout too, for sure. It's not where he catches the ball, it's where it crossed home plate.
Out toward right center field. Granderson will settle under it. And there are 2 outs. And Cesar Hernandez will bat here in the bottom of the 9th inning. All right. I know, Matt, you enjoyed these moments coming off the bench and, in the 9th inning. Mike, did you enjoy these moments?
No.
Bottom of the 9th? Did you? No?
Coming off the bench?
No. Just being in the bottom of the 9th inning, tie game, not coming off the bench. I know you didn't.
No, I have.
Yeah.
I hated that. That's why I played a lot of times when I shouldn't have been playing. I didn't want to sit on the bench and know that I'd be up there with the game on the line. It takes a unique guy to walk up there, be totally loose, relaxed, and have a plan to be a pinch hitter.
1 ball and no strikes to Cesar.
one of the great pinch hitters. Have I told you this story? The biggest hit of my career was Del Unser's.
Oh, yeah, you have said that.
Del Unser's single after I left the tying run on third base in the 80 NLCS.
2 to Hernandez. Ground ball left side. Tejada, the shortstop, hurries the throw in time. The side is retired. Well, it should come out as a no surprise for anyone, including Greg Murphy, that we are heading to extra innings again. Murph, how about that?
It is hard to believe, and yep, doing it with the same team. And take a look, guys. The last time the Phillies did it, 2013 against the White Sox. And the first time for the Mets, 3 straight extra inning games since 2001. How long will this one go? Well, we got to stay tuned to find out as we head to the top of the 10th.
These two as we go extra innings for a third consecutive day. It is rally hat time. Should be always rally hat time the way this is going. Extra inning records: the Mets 4-5, the Phillies 4-3. So Justin DeFreitas will take over for the Phils as we go to the top of the 10th inning. 9th ball game for DeFreitas. All right, so 9 innings took 2 hours and 51 minutes today. So we're ahead of the game compared to the last 2 days, because the last 2 days 9 innings took over 3.5 hours. 3:37 on Friday, 3:44 on Saturday. David Wright will lead it off. He's 1 for 3.
Matt, do you like the no doubles defense at this time of the game? Guarding the lines on the corners. A lot of schools of thought on that.
Well, I mean, really, David Wright, no, because he doesn't usually hook the ball. He works the big part of the field.
I worry about the hole at shortstop with David Wright. I don't know.
Well, it's just a single, but I mean, as a third baseman, a right-handed hitter, you can't let him get a ball down that line. Now, I don't know whether that's his no doubles position or not, but to me, it looks like he could actually hook a ball to his right fair.
I agree 100%.
0-2 pitch. Popped him up on the left side. Jimmy Rollins waits. There's one out. Phillies baseball and softball camps. Phillies Baseball Academy open for boys and girls age 6 to 14 for baseball and softball camps. You get professional coaching, skill development from Phillies players, coaches, and Baseball Academy instructors. There are 15 locations and many weeks to choose from. Call 610-520-3400 for more information. Here's Eric Campbell. He is 2 for 4. 1 ball and no strikes. Mike, you were in the dugout. What would you do when you were in a dugout as a manager? Would you play no doubles like this, or
yes,
would you?
Definitely on the third base side.
How about the outfielders?
Well, I don't know how to change them up too much. The theory is it takes 3 hits for score a run. Technically, I mean, a guy hits a double and a single scores him, but if you keep holding to a single, the double play is still in order. Technically, it takes 1 more hit to score the runner. I don't know, just for years, ever since I've been around, 2-2 in the bottom of the 9th, you guard the lines.
To the left side, Brignac charges and just gets it.
Good play.
2 outs.
Now that was one where the third baseman should have used his glove. The other one earlier in the game where he knocked down that line drive and then Manning picked it up with his glove and threw it was a different story. This is a very nice play here. A lot of third basemen might have tried to barehand that, played it into a base hit. Wow, game of inches.
And Campbell, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but he was taking a long time to come back to the dugout. He was hoping that they were. He's just going down the stairs now. He was hoping they were going to review it. Maybe they did, and they decided that he was out. Maybe the Mets reviewed it and decided he was out. Here's Chris Young. A little low, 1 ball and no strikes.
Especially with 2 outs. No doubles on the corner. We're not sort of privy up here to hitting charts and history of hitters and where they hit the ball, so the guys in the dugout know a lot more about that than we do.
And they do have charts on everything nowadays. One ball and 2 strikes. Chris Young didn't think so, but those look like 2 pretty good pitches from DeFreitas.
And they were. And getting right back with Michael was saying real quick, I agree 100% about guarding the lines, but I also think you should take away the gaps more with 2 outs. Ball hit down the left field line or the right field line is going to be an automatic double anyway. So if you can play back a little farther, take the gaps away, cut the ball off before it gets there.
Chris Young stays alive. Young is 1 for 3 in today's ball game. He had the sac fly in the 4th inning. One of 2 sac flies for the Mets here today. First time in history the Mets and the Phillies have played 3 straight extra inning games against each other. Huh. Check swing. Did he go? No. Boy, that's a tough hold right there.
Well, one could argue that that's a swing. He didn't break his wrist, but I don't know the rule.
It's open for interpretation. Got him. Didn't matter. Side is retired in order. So give Papelbon, Jimenez, and DeFreitas credit. 3 scoreless innings for the Phillies bullpen. To the bottom of the 10th we go. It's Brignac to lead things off. Made some changes. They've moved the first baseman Eric Campbell out to left field, and they brought Lucas Duda in to play first base. And Josh Edgin will be the new pitcher for the Mets. So Edgin will bat in Chris Young's spot, which is the 5th spot in the order. Lucas Duda will bat 9th. All right, check that. They've just informed us that Chris Young stays in the game, and now he's in center field. So I believe Edgin will now bat, and they're adjusting it right now. Edgin will now bat first, and Lucas Duda will bat 9th. Boy, this really tests the managers. You know, the double switches. You know, you've got to sort of project as the game moves on. And again, neither bench has they don't have 5 guys as they normally do. They have 4 plus the backup catcher. So you have 3 basically with the backup catcher being number 4.
Well, Sandberg has Secretary Boa down there to help.
Yes, he does.
Keep things in order. He's a good sounding board for Ryan. But your point well taken. It's much of a different thing managing the rosters here today.
Tony Gwynn is out of the on-deck circle for the Phillies, as Brignac will lead it off. Again, all lefties except for Nieves, who's the backup catcher. And he's the only right-hander off the bench for the Phillies. Brignac fouls the first pitch back. It's 0-1. Friday night it was Brignac who was the hero, going the opposite way. Just trying to hit the ball hard. Reed has struck out 7 times in this series, and it's 0-2.
Another thing managers have to be careful with is getting guys up in the bullpen. If you're going to get a guy up in the bullpen, you pretty much got to bring him in, because the amount been used so far. Last thing you want to do is get a guy up 2 or 3 times in the game, and then now all of a sudden he's burnt and he can't come in the game.
Philippe Almont is in the bullpen for the Phillies. 2-2 pitch to Brignac, and a foul tip, 1 away. And Tony Gwynn is coming to the plate. From a lefty standpoint, the Mets, after Edgin's done, they only have Dana Evelins in the bullpen.
Got a nice discussion with Tony Gwynn Jr. Earlier today about his father, who's battling cancer right now. I want to wish Tony Gwynn Sr., if he happens to be watching on MLB, watching his son, all the best. We're thinking about him.
He's been going through that battle off and on the last several years. Tony was telling us that the treatments were sapping his immune system. That was causing him some issues too. 0-1 pitch to Gwynn. It's in there. It's 0-2. His Pacers getting knocked out of the NBA playoffs isn't going to help anything either. Tony Gwynn Sr. is a big Pacer fan. They lost to the Heat, so. No balls and 2 strikes to Gwynn. Swing and a miss, and back-to-back strikeouts. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 10th. And Ben Revere will be the hitter. Edgin has done this with just 8 pitches.
Yeah, I got to say it again. There's some really good pitchers coming out of that bullpen. No matter how much they've worked, they still strike out stuff, all of them.
You sure you don't want to reassess the keys that you put out there today? You want to go back to your first one? Contact, contact, contact. Well, Ben has been on base twice. He has singled and walked.
Speaking of that, strikeouts are up to 20% across Major League Baseball now. In the early 70s, they were 12, right around 12%, and then they went up in the 90s to 16. Now they're at 20%. 1 out of every 5 at bats.
Goes to what you said last time is, you know, they don't think strikeouts are that big of a deal anymore. Hitters don't.
Well, that's part of it. There's a lot of reasons for poor 2-strike hitting. The unwillingness to give in with 2 strikes and poke at the ball, make contact. And maybe one of the key issues that have led to the research of so many strikeouts, of it being 20%. I think the old money ball theory of run the pitch counts up, take a lot of pitches, because taking a lot of pitches at a hitter, I don't know, Matt likes that, but it leads to more 2-strike hitting. You know?
Well, Edgin certainly capitalized on that in this inning. He retires the Phillies in order with 3 straight strikeouts. We'll go to the 11th inning here in Philadelphia. What's new? Turn things over to Philippe Almont out on the mound. So Almont will bat in Ben Revere's spot. So the pitcher spot is now the leadoff spot. Almont just back from AAA earlier today, where he was 1-1 with an ERA of 4.13. A lot of walks. One of Philippe's issues were the walks before he was sent down. And he's on here to face Curtis Granderson, Ruben Tejada, and Travis d'Arnaud for the Mets here at the top of the 11th inning. No doubt Philippe Almont has the talent and the stuff. It's just harnessing that and keeping it in the strike zone. Now, what turned out to be a beautiful day is now turned into late afternoon here at Citizens Bank Park, as we are at extra innings for the 3rd consecutive ballgame. The first time it's ever happened in games played between the Phillies and the Mets. Curtis Granderson will lead it off. Granderson is 1 for 2. He's walked. He has a sacrifice fly. Got a single in his first at bat. Phillies bullpen did a great job yesterday. Did an outstanding job the day before. 7 scoreless innings on Friday night. No balls and 1 strike to Granderson. Had a play 0-2. Henry Mejia is starting to throw in the bullpen for the Mets. There's Mejia. Did not pitch in yesterday's game. Swing and a miss. He got him. Well, he does have nasty stuff when he's in the strike zone.
Nasty stuff in 6'7", 6'8", whatever it is. That's a bad combination right there. It's like he's throwing from what, 52 feet.
Yeah, there are times where we've seen him where he's like that, where he is just pounding the strike zone. And then there are other times where he's just flying open too much and the ball kind of sails away. Here's Tejada. He's 1 for 4. Tomorrow, Bartolo Colon will face Roberto Hernandez. Those are the scheduled starters in the game. Fly ball to right. And Almont gets 2 outs. And now Travis d'Arnaud.
He has an unusual motion, Almont. He almost throws like an infielder. You know what I mean? It's not. He doesn't really long arm the ball. It doesn't really reach back. It's if you watch him, it's a lot of wrist. Looks like involved in his release. Kind of a short armor.
Well, they've tried to tinker with his motion, right, Matt? In spring training, they try to bring him down a little bit too. You know, sort of 3/4, even less than 3/4, a little bit.
They did, but it actually looks like he's back up a little higher again.
Yeah, then they decided, Larry Anderson was talking about this. Larry was an instructor this year about keeping him 6'7", instead of, because he would crouch down. So they have him sort of straight up now. And when he comes set, he would bend at the waist.
That's a 89, 90 mile an hour cutter going along with a 95 mile an hour fastball with movement. You get to the point where you can slow him down on the mound and control that. He's going to put up some ridiculous numbers.
The curveball sailed inside. It never did break. Two balls, 1 strike to d'Arnaud. Outside, 3-1.
This is the hitter he wants right here. You have a guy that can beat you in the on-deck circle, Lucas Duda, left-hander.
Duda's now in the pitcher's spot. There's ball 4. A 2-out walk. And Bob McClure's about ready to head out toward the mound to talk to Almont. With Lucas Duda coming up.
There's nobody warming up, so this is just How are we going to pitch this guy meeting? What do you think, Matt? Saying we need to be a little bit careful with the down and in fastball here?
Yeah, and it also might be given a little tip about make sure you keep Tejada close at first base. Well, I'm sorry, DeMont, but I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now, and of course, his strength and his weaknesses.
I'd like to see him get a clean inning here, even for his head. You know, just his return back. Last time he was here, he was all over the place, and his numbers were up and down in AAA, but he had some really powerful innings. So here's Duda, a 236 hitter, up for the first time, 7 home runs, with d'Arnaud leading off first, and the first pitch, a breaking ball. It's 1-0. There's the overshift on with Duda. Rollins cheats toward the middle. Hernandez out in the outfield grass. One is scalded out towards center field. Gwynn going back, and it is gone. A 2-run home run for Lucas Duda. It's a 4-2 ball game. Pitch was up. Whoa. And he crushed it.
That was scalded. That was a line drive over the 409 mark in center field. The problem there was losing the hitter before Duda. Had a real clean inning going, throwing good.
And then he ran the count to 3-1 to d'Arnaud and wound up walking him. Well, he took a real good path with that ball.
I got to tell Edgin to go ahead and hit in this situation here. He wasn't even in the on-deck circle. He was expected to be pinch hit.
Probably looking for a helmet. He's probably looking for a bat.
I have to stay in the game.
So Edgin will bat, and the first pitch is low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. So the Mets have taken a 4-2 lead. The Phillies will have Rollins, Bird, and Ruiz due up in their half of the 11th inning. Little tapper foul, 1-1. One and two.
That might go to tired bullpen too, but you don't have the ability, I guess, to match up with lefty on lefty.
Yeah, we said it once Duda was coming up. There was no left-hander warming up at all. Probably on a normal day would have been the right thing to do. Mott gets Edgin swinging, but the Phillies are going to have to work from behind. A 2-run home run given up by Felipe Almont will go to the bottom of the 11th inning. It's a 4-2 game. fast for both teams. The Phillies dipped down to their minor leagues and brought up Felipe Almont and Cesar Jimenez. And Almont walked Travis d'Arnaud and then had to face this guy right here. And Duda didn't miss a fastball that was up in the zone. He hit it out to center field. That has given the Mets the lead. So now it's time for the Phils to try to come from behind against Henry Mejia. Mejia is pitching in his second game in this series. 4-2 with a 3.97 ERA. Actually, his third game in the series. He was a starter at the beginning of the year. Now he's basically the Mets closer. Although Familia did wind up closing last night's game. So Mejia will come on to face Jimmy Rollins, Marlon Byrd, and Carlos Ruiz.
Well, the key here for the Phillies is just, stay mentally in this thing. We can still win this game, but what the first couple hitters got to do is the mindset's got to be, we got to get to Ryan Howard. We got to have a man on, get to Ryan Howard. If we get to Ryan Howard, we got a shot. Now, I'm not just saying it's because Ryan Howard, can hit the home run, but I mean, Howard's got a bat in this inning for them. Well, unless we had 3 straight home runs.
Well, I think we would take that at this point. But the mental part of it, when you're playing 14, now 11, I mean, the mental part of baseball is always important. But, you really have to bear down here and focus a little bit more. And what is
right.
very long.
Jimmy's got one job: get on base. It's not, it is to get a base hit. Once Mejia proves he can throw strikes, he needs to take early, see a lot of pitches, put the walk in play if the pitcher's willing to do it.
Jimmy has walked 31 times this year. 20 of those walks came in the month of May. First pitch is a strike. It's 0-1 for Mejia. Mejia is new to this closer thing. Certainly is not lights out. He's good, though. That was a pitcher's pitch right there.
Kind of took the walk out of play pretty quick.
So he singled his first at bat today. And he hits that one out toward right center field. Chris Young glides over to make the catch. One gone here in the bottom of the 11th inning. Well, same thought here from Marlon Byrd.
Things do not change for Marlon. He needs to take a strike and then just try to get on base any way he can. Let the walk be a possibility.
I think Brian Anora may have gotten something in his eye, so they were giving him a moment behind the plate, but he seems to be set to go. Marlon Byrd is 0 for 4. He has struck out 3 times today. He's 3 for 17 in the series. 1 ball, no strikes. Outside, 2-0.
Matt and I are shaking each other's heads, looking at each other, wondering, with a 2-run lead, how can you throw curveball slider to Marlon Byrd? 1 out and a 2-run lead.
When he got as good a fastball as he has, and then he throws the fastball, it's 2-1. You figure Marlon was taking a pitch. Play off to our right. Not often that a ball comes up that far toward the booths here. Toyota Major League Scoreboard, the Rangers have salvaged the final game of that series. Yu Darvish, 12 strikeouts over 18 innings. I guess his neck is okay. The Rangers defeated the Nationals 2-0. 2-2 to Marlon Byrd. And a line drive toward left field. It's hooking toward the corner. It is gone! Just over the flower bed. It's a 4-3 ball game.
Well, I guarantee you Marlon was just trying to get a piece of that ball. That's all he was trying to do. Just reach up and hook it, and he got a piece of it, and that's what he needed to do in that situation. And what does it do? It brings the tying run to home plate.
And it's Carlos Ruiz. That's the 8th home run of the year for Marlon Byrd.
I got a crazy thing for you. I almost wish that ball wouldn't have gone out of the ballpark.
So somebody's on second, a little more pressure on the pitcher?
No, it keeps the momentum into the inning.
Pop up on the right side.
I don't know if that makes any sense. Now we do get to Ryan Howard in the game as we had hoped, but if the ball doesn't go out, you basically kind of have a rally going.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You have men in scoring position. You still got the tying run at home plate, but it's not like you're starting over. Does that make sense?
No, it does. I mean, I've heard people say that before in different situations, but in this case, got a young closer out there.
Man on second. I don't know. Maybe he's a little afraid of Chooch and he ends up walking him or something. You know, man on first and second, only because there's a runner out there. Now it's just like pitching as a closer with a 1-run lead.
Jamie said a few times that a home run's a rally killer.
Howard takes a breaking ball. It's 0-1. Can't believe that one was a strike. Brian O'Nora's had a pretty good day behind the plate here today. Home plate umpire. Home run for Byrd makes it a 1-run game. To the right side, and this may do it, and it will. Duda will tap the bag, and the Mets have taken 3 of the first 4, including the last 2 in extra innings, as they hang on and win it today 4-3 in 11 innings over the Phillies. Well, Lucas Duda did not start today's ball game, but he certainly finished it for the New York Mets. A 2-run home run in the top of the 11th inning, and he is our Chevrolet Player of the Game. 3 straight extra inning games for the first time in the history of this matchup between the Phillies and the Mets. And the Mets have won it today by 1. We'll be back to wrap it up after this.